Chapter 48-62. Of course, Nalan Liang knew that this was all because of Lin Xian. He also knew that Lin Xian was the mad god. Therefore, he hurried over to Lin Xian's side and said, "Boss Lin Xian, the Nalan family swears to follow you till death." The other members of the Divine Union were even more determined. Now that they were confident, so what if it was the Dragon Palace? They dared to fight for it. When the Levitation Saint heard the news, he was also very surprised. He had not expected the legendary mad god to come. On the other side, the Sky Sect was also shocked, especially the people from the Tianshui Pavilion. One should know that Elder Tianshui had hit Lin Xian with a palm strike before. At that time, they had thought that Lin Xian did not have any background and that the palm strike had been for nothing. Now, it seemed that this was not the case. Not only did Lin Xian have the Levitation Saint, but he also had the mad god behind him. The Levitation Saint was an elder of the Tao sect and could not easily make a move. However, the mad god did not have any restrictions. He had dared to destroy the Fifth Elder's faction. It was very likely that he would also make a move on Elder Tianshui. Fortunately, Elder Tianshui was punished and could not leave the sect for 50 years. The people from the Tianshui Pavilion heaved a sigh of relief. No matter how powerful the mad god was, he would not dare to behave atrociously in the Sky Sect. The people from the Sacred Abyss Tower were also surprised when they heard the news. A few divine generals' eyes lit up. The mad god had finally made his move? Send someone to investigate, quickly. We have to find out who he is. Looks like we have enough manpower. If we add the mad god, we might be able to compete for the next position. Another divine general nodded. That's right. They had been wondering who the last candidate would be. The mad god's appearance was too timely. It seemed like these divine generals were also looking for the mad god. In an instant, this name had spread throughout the ancient city. On the other side, Lin Xian went into seclusion after returning to his spiritual abode. He had also been severely injured previously. After all, the power of the great dragon sword soul was too terrifying. The power he had used had exceeded his limits. Fortunately, he had cultivated the immortality art and did not hurt his foundation. However, he still had to recover quickly. After entering the sword world, Lin Xian sat cross-legged in the Four-Spirit Valley and swallowed the spirit herbs he had grown. He replied very quickly. Then he tidied up the spoils of war. He took the storage rings, the remaining resources, and the properties of the Fifth Elder's branch. He picked out the suitable spiritual herbs and planted them in the Four-Spirit Valley. At the same time, he was still waiting for the arrival of the 5 realm cores. This time the speed was extremely fast. Not long after, Nalan Liang arrived and brought back 5 realm cores. These 5 world cores were personally selected by Nalanda. They weren't far from the buried Emperor Star. Moreover, the distance between the 5 of them was also very close. This saved Lin Xian a lot of trouble. Let's go and collect them. These 5 world cores, in addition to the one he had obtained from the 6 Daos itinerant cultivator. If he swallowed all 6 realm cores and brought them into the mysterious world, what would happen? Lin Xian was looking forward to it. He boarded the Black Earth and left the Tao sect, heading into the universe. He knew that he had to cultivate with all his might. Although he was very strong now, he didn't dare to underestimate anyone in the world, especially the Dragon Prince. As the Emperor's son, the Dragon Prince probably had more worlds in his hands than him. For example, Lin Xian had been to the core area of the Tao sect once. He felt that the core area was formed by the fusion of many worlds. The power inside was definitely not something that a young disciple could imagine. If the Tao sect was already so terrifying, the Emperor race would definitely be even more terrifying. Moreover, the Dragon Prince cultivated the Emperor's ancient scripture. He might even be able to use extreme weapons. Therefore, to him, the Dragon Prince was a peerless enemy. Out of the 6 realm cores, 2 of them were planets with living beings on them. Therefore, Lin Xian didn't collect them. As for the other 4, he used the heaven-devouring jar to swallow them. Then, the heaven-devouring jar entered the mysterious world and was refined into a planet. For more planets appeared in the sky, all of them revolving around the Four-Spirit Valley. This caused the aura of the Four-Spirit Valley to change instantly. The ground there quickly recovered and released a mysterious power. The spiritual herbs in the Four-Spirit Valley grew crazily. The leaves on the ground surrounded the great Tao, causing the 4 spirit beasts to be stunned. What happened to the heavens? They were dumbfounded. When they looked up and saw the 4 planets shining in the sky, their mouths opened wide. This kid had obtained another 4 worlds and refined them into stars. Was he really going to evolve this world into a universe? The spirit dragon said that he was still far from it. How many planets were there in the universe? However, this kid was able to obtain 4 in such a short time. It was really shocking. The 4 spirit beasts also felt that something was different now. Their strength was also recovering, although it wasn't at its peak. However, this mysterious power shocked and made them ecstatic. Now, even if Lin Xian chased them away, the 4 of them wouldn't leave. Lin Xian naturally felt the changes in the Four-Spirit Valley. The corners of his mouth curled up. When he took out a spiritual herb from the Four-Spirit Valley and ate it, the injuries he had suffered in the past were all healed. Lin Xian was shocked. According to his estimation, it would take another 2 months for him to fully recover from his injuries. But now, everything was as good as new. He had recovered to his peak. It was too magical. From the looks of it, his train of thought was right. As for the other 2 star worlds, Lin Xian also went there. He had fused with the world core and became the ruler of the 2 worlds. He could use the power of these 2 worlds. He found 2 top-grade mineral veins inside. They emitted a terrifying aura and then moved to the Sword World, placing them around the Four-Spirit Valley. 2 top-grade mines, one red and one purple. After entering, their powers were quickly absorbed. However, they did not disappear like the 4 spirit veins. Instead, they stabilized after reaching a certain extent. Following that, their bodies also released a mysterious aura. It seemed like they had obtained a trace of the mysterious world's power. He wondered what the 2 mineral veins would evolve into in the future. Lin Xian walked out of the Sword World and walked into the forest. This world was called Lightning Star and contained an extremely strong lightning aura. The strongest person in this world had only cultivated to the Saint Realm. Lin Xian was like a god, feeling his world. It was as if he had become one with the entire star. It was a wonderful feeling. Boom! At this time, the sky suddenly darkened. Then, the entire world was filled with cracks, as if it was about to be destroyed. The demon beasts and humans in the lightning star were terrified. They crawled on the ground, unable to resist at all. A few saints rushed out and shouted angrily, "Who is it?" Boom! In an instant, they were beaten into a bloody mist. Chapter 48-63. Lin Xian stood on top of the mountain peak, looking at the sky and the scene of destruction. His brows were tightly knitted together. He had just become the ruler of the lightning star, and such a situation had already happened? Who dared to attack his world? Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light. His figure flashed, and he flew out of the universe. When he came out of the starry sky, he saw a huge monster. It was extremely terrifying and seemed to be attacking the lightning star. Lin Xian's eyes were filled with killing intent. At this time, another figure appeared beside him. It was an old man with a little girl. His face was filled with fear. When he saw Lin Xian, he exclaimed, "Young master, leave quickly." This sacred spirit was extremely terrifying. It would be too late if they didn't leave now. Lin Xian glanced at the other party and realized that the old man was only a saint, and the little girl was a supremacy. Lin Xian was shocked. "He said that you were a saint of the lightning star?" The old man nodded. "That's right. Leave quickly." He could see that Lin Xian was definitely a saint since he could come to the outer realm. Therefore, he hurriedly advised him. The little girl said with her eyes wide open, "Big brother, leave quickly. This sacred spirit is extremely terrifying. Even my grandpa can't defeat it." Lin Xian smiled and said no need. From now on, no one can threaten the lightning star, not even the sacred spirit. "Young master, I know that you might be a top genius from a great world. However, the origin of the sacred spirit is extremely terrifying. This was a very small sacred spirit with a shallow cultivation. Even so, it wasn't something that the people of the lightning star could fight against." He wanted to persuade Lin Xian again, but Lin Xian had already walked forward. This sacred spirit was extremely huge. It couldn't be seen clearly at all. One could only see the tip of the iceberg. However, it was extremely terrifying. With a single claw, it caused the lightning star and the world to shatter. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light. Scram! With a cold shout, the sky fell and the earth cracked. The sacred spirit's huge claw split open. Roar! A crazy roar sounded, and the starry sky in the outer realm turned upside down. Above the 9 heavens, 2 red eyes shone down. The old man behind instantly felt his entire body turn cold. He had no way to escape. The other party could kill him with a single glance. "Not good, have I been targeted? It's over. I'm afraid I'm going to die here." The old man regretted not escaping in time. Lin Xian, who was in front of him, was still not afraid. "What? You're not going to scram? Then go to hell." 6 Dao Fist. Originally, the starry sky had darkened, but Lin Xian's fist was like a golden sun that illuminated everything, causing light to appear once more. The Holy Spirit roared angrily, and a terrifying energy shot out from its eyes as it descended. After the attack, his huge body was sent flying, and the outer space shattered. Were they repelled? Behind them, the purple thunder saint was dumbfounded. The little girl's eyes were also filled with stars. This big brother is too amazing. "Grandpa, what level has he reached?" the little girl asked. The purple lightning saint laughed bitterly. "I don't know either. I'm afraid it's a realm far beyond my imagination." Lightning star. Countless creatures were prostrating on the ground. They felt that the end of the world had arrived. The black claw was like a god of destruction, sweeping in all directions. Mountains and rivers were shattered, and no one could compare. Even the escaping saints were smashed into pieces. On the lightning star, a sage was a supreme existence. If even such a person could not resist, then there was no need to talk about other people. But suddenly, they realized that the black claw had shattered, turning into a bloody mist. Not only that, even the darkening sky was illuminated. Then, the terrifying aura retreated like seawater. What's going on? Did the world-destroying demonic beast leave? Who did it? They could not imagine. They knelt on the ground and prayed. Roar! Outer verse. The Holy Spirit's huge body was sent flying, tearing the void apart. It stood up, roared at the sky, and charged toward Lin Xian. A sword light appeared in Lin Xian's hand, and he waved it forward. The entire universe seemed to have been split in half, and the endless starfields were shattered. The Holy Spirit's huge body was torn apart. It was severely injured. It roared and turned to escape. Was the Holy Spirit defeated? The purple thunder saint was dumbfounded. The little girl was even more shocked. This scene was like a myth. Lin Xian snorted. Trying to escape? He chased after it. Another 6-path fist. A large amount of blood rain fell, and the Holy Spirit's huge body was shattered. Lin Xian chased it all the way to the depths of the starry sky. Finally, he stopped and shouted, "Don't let me see you again, or I'll destroy your soul." A trace of fear appeared in the Holy Spirit's eyes. It did not expect that a human could injure it. It was too terrifying. It would never dare to come to this starfield again. In the starry sky above the lightning star, The Purple Thunder Saint was still stunned. At this moment he realized that the mysterious young man had returned. "How is the young master?" The Purple Thunder Saint asked carefully. Lin Xian said that the Holy Spirit ran away and was severely injured. It probably would not dare to come back again. The Purple Thunder Saint sucked in a breath of cold air. The young master was kind enough to save the lightning star. As he spoke, he was about to bow. However, Lin Xian stopped him. "Don't thank me, because this world is mine. I won't let others destroy it." "Yours?" The Purple Thunder Saint was stunned. That shouldn't be. Wasn't the lightning star's world core taken by the Nailin family? As a saint, he was well aware of this. However, Lin Xian said that from now on, he was the ruler of this world. "Let's go." He waved his hand and descended. The Purple Thunder Saint was shocked and followed with his granddaughter. In the world below, countless living beings stood up and cheered. Great! The destructive aura was gone. They did not know who did it. Soon, they saw two figures in the sky. One of them was an unfamiliar man, while the other was a terrifying saint. His body was surrounded by terrifying lightning. Someone exclaimed, "It was the Purple Thunder Saint." Could it be that he defeated the world-destroying demonic beast? As soon as this was said, countless people exclaimed, "Many thanks to the Purple Thunder Saint for helping." They were too grateful. At the same time, a few other figures appeared in another direction. They were also saints, but they were incomparably shocked. The Purple Thunder Saint was about the same as them. Could he defeat the world-destroying demonic beast? They were not sure. The Purple Thunder Saint smiled bitterly and looked at the people below. "You are wrong. It was not me who defeated the world-destroying demonic beast. It was this young master." He pointed at Lin Xian and said. The countless living beings below were stunned as they stared at Lin Xian. Who was this person? He was so young. He was just a young man. How could he be so powerful? Could it be that his strength was even more terrifying than the Purple Thunder Saints? Heavens, what kind of realm was that? They were dumbfounded. In their eyes, saints were already godlike existences. They could not imagine someone more powerful than saints. Chapter 48-64. Even the other sages furrowed their brows tightly. Was this young man very powerful? They looked over and suddenly realized that they couldn't see the other party's true strength. This shocked them. Lin Xian looked around. He took a step forward and said, "I'm the Mad God. From now on, I'm the ruler of the lightning star, your god." Lin Xian's voice resounded in all directions. The creatures below were stunned. The other party was the ruler of this world. The other party was a god. This news was too shocking. The pupils of the other sages shrank. Once they reached the level of sages, they would know that the world core of this world was obtained by the Nailin family. And the Nailin family was a top family in an even more terrifying great world. They could casually send someone here to wipe them out. Now that this person had appeared, could it be that he was also from the Nailin family? Was he the young master of the Nailin family? Several people walked up. Lin Xian glanced at them and said, "No, the Nailin family respects me." The sages were shocked and couldn't believe it. The Nailin family had to bow to him? Then where did this person come from? They were shocked, but then they all bowed and paid their respects to the Mad God. The old man with purple lightning also hurriedly bowed. The little girl beside him was stunned. This young man was actually a god. Seeing the lightning star, the most powerful sages all submitted. The creatures below also knelt down. Lin Xian said, "From now on, you don't have to worry about the lightning star being attacked. If the world-destroying demonic beast comes to inform me again, I'll destroy its soul." After saying this, Lin Xian took a step forward. The aura on his body erupted, as if he had turned into a sun war god. The surrounding sages were facing a great enemy. It was as if a single glance from the other party could tear their bodies apart. It was too terrifying. What kind of realm was this? Lin Xian waved his hand, and a drop of blood fell from his fingertip. It formed a dragon shadow below, occupying the ground. If the world-destroying demonic beast attacked, inform this dragon shadow, and I'll appear instantly. The dragon shadow roared toward the sky, emitting a terrifying aura. From now on, this place would become the land of gods. As the countless living beings dispersed, Lin Xian looked at the purple thunder saint and the others. Then he said, I'll create a few array formations for you guys. Firstly, it can be used for defense. Secondly, it can gather spirit veins for you to cultivate. Thank you, Mad God. These saints are extremely grateful. Lin Xian smiled and began to set up the array formation. This was originally his world. The stronger the people in this world were, the more benefits he would receive. Naturally, he had to make some arrangements. Soon, one formation after another appeared. The Purple Thunder Saint and the others were stupefied. Such an array could be said to be heaven-defying. It was enough for them to comprehend for a lifetime. After finishing his preparations, Lin Xian left the lightning star and went to the last star world, where he also dripped a drop of 10,000 dragons' divine blood. Then he set up a formation before returning. Riding on the black earth, they flew through the cold universe. Lin Xian sent out a clone to guard them, and then his main body entered the sword world. At this moment, under the power of the 5 stars, the sword world, where the 4 Spirit Valley was located, had completely changed. The spiritual energy here was abundant, and the power of heaven and earth was extremely terrifying. The 4 spirit beasts were all stunned. Heavens, I've stayed on the medicine star for thousands of years, but I've never seen such a terrifying aura. Even Lin Xian was surprised. After all, he had been to many places. He had even been to the core of the Tao sect. He realized that the aura in the 4 Spirit Valley was not weaker than the territory of the Levitation Saint. And this was only the recovery of a single valley and 5 stars. If this world was completely restored, the Tao sect would not be able to compare to it. Lin Xian was looking forward to this day. From the looks of it, he would be able to cultivate in the valley of the sword world in the future. His speed would definitely be much faster than outside. Half a month later, Lin Xian returned to the God Palace. The injuries he had suffered previously had completely healed, and he was even stronger now. After Lin Xian returned, he took a look at the situation in the Divine Union. He realized that the development was going very well. Ever since Lin Wudi's and Mad God's names had spread, many people had come because of their fame. On the contrary, the Dragon Palace had become much more low-key. Most of them had entered seclusion and would not come out for a short period of time. Bai Susu and the others also knew that it was not that the Dragon Palace was afraid, but that the Tao sect's grand meeting was about to begin. The elites of the Dragon Palace wanted to shine brightly at the meeting. Bai Susu was also nervously preparing. During this period, she had been in the Levitation Saint's residence and rarely appeared in the God Palace. Lin Xian did not feel any pressure. After all, he had only been here for a few years, so he did not care about the Tao sacred meeting. The Crimson Dragon and the others naturally did not care. Their goal was to strengthen the Divine Union as much as possible. At this moment, the dark red creature, the toad, was already a famous expert on the Jade board. Actually, given their strength, they could definitely enter the Xian board. However, they did not do so. Even the Dragon Prince did not enter the Xian board. This was because the top few on the Jade board were treated very well, so there was no need to rush to enter the Xian board. On top of that, Lin Xian also made a few new friends. The North Demon and Wu Hua. These were all old friends. Needless to say, the North Demon was Black Mountain's disciple and had been training all these years. Previously, he had even joined forces with Lin Xian in the second astral boundary. Wu Hua was a friend from the quintessential world. Back then, he had also been a top expert. However, after Lin Xian had left, they rarely saw each other. Unexpectedly, the other party had also come. The two of them had come after hearing about the miraculous, wholly distant ancient city. After arriving, they had not thought of joining the Tao sect. However, they had only come after hearing about Lin Wudi's reputation. They felt that it was very likely that he was Lin Xian. Now that they had seen him, it was indeed so. Lin Xian had said, "Come to the divine union. I need you guys." The North Demon nodded. "This time, I came on the orders of my master. He asked me to come and help you." Wu Hua also smiled. "When the next Tao sect assessment is held, I will enter." Naturally, Lin Xian was happy to meet an old friend. He brought over some good wine and prepared to have a good drink. At the same time, he asked Lu Yuan to go to the Sky Sect and invite Yi Wudao over. This was also an old friend. When Yi Wudao arrived, the power on his body was even more terrifying and unfathomable. This surprised Lin Xian, as expected of the sacred body of the ancients. Furthermore, he had cultivated the Heavenly Emperor scripture. His cultivation speed was actually not any slower than Yi Wudao's. It seemed like he had a lot of resources in his hands. Yi Wudao was even more surprised when he saw Lin Xian. "Brother Lin, you are really surprising. I cultivated the Heavenly Emperor's ancient scripture. With the full support of my family, I obtained a lot of realm cores. That's why I could have such a cultivation speed. However, you don't have the support of your family. Relying on your own strength, you are actually not any slower than me. This is really hard to imagine." Chapter 48-65. The few of them drank and chatted for 3 days before returning to their respective places. Lin Xian entered the sword world again and adjusted his physique to its peak. When he walked out, there was a terrifying, murderous intent on his body. Elder Tianxue, it was time to settle the grudge. Lin Xian rose into the air and flew towards the Sky Sect. Previously, he had fought Yi Chen to the death and killed the other party. In the end, Elder Tianxue was enraged and slapped him. Lin Xian was injured back then and swore that he would use the other party's head to pay for the slap back then. Today he was going to fulfill his promise. Lin Xian used the void beast and teleported. No one knew that he had left, and no one knew that a storm would sweep through again. Sky Sect. Many people were spreading the legend of Lin Wudi and Mad God, especially the people of Tianxue Pavilion who had already received the order. Don't go out to accept any missions for the time being. Just cultivate in seclusion. Wait until the limelight is over. On this day, a figure appeared outside the Sky Sect. It was pitch black like a demon. With a roar, the surrounding mountains collapsed and shattered. Who was it? The guarding disciple of the Sky Sect instantly rose into the air and shouted coldly. "It was me, Mad God." "What? You're Mad God?" The guarding disciples' pupils constricted. They had been hearing this name every day for the past few days. They didn't expect the other party to come. Could it be that the other party was here for Elder Tianxue? "Why are you here?" One of the disciples asked coldly. "To avenge Lin Xian. To fight to the death with Elder Tianxue." Those disciples felt their scalps go numb. The other party was really here for revenge. This matter was too big, and they couldn't make up their minds. Therefore, someone turned around and went in to report. The others said, "Wait outside first." Lin Xian smiled. "I've been waiting for a long time. I can't wait any longer." He took a step forward and disappeared instantly. When he reappeared, he was already in front of them. Not good. They quickly retreated in fear. However, Lin Xian had no intention of attacking them. These guarding disciples were not worthy of his attack. The guarding disciple activated the array formation. The array formation in front of him flickered. However, he could not stop Lin Xian. Lin Xian's speed was too fast. The Void Beast spatial tunnel, coupled with the Skywalk steps, allowed him to enter the Sky Sect's mountain gate by the time the array formation lit up. "Oh no, I'm a step too late. Hurry up and report this." The disciples' expression changed. What was this guy trying to do? They did not dare to imagine. After all, according to the legends, he was a godlike existence. After entering, Lin Xian stepped in all directions and shouted coldly, "Where is Elder Tinshui? Get over here and accept your death." His voice was like thunder, causing everyone's blood to roil. Countless people were horrified. Who is this? How dare you come to the Sky Sect and behave atrociously? The Heaven Sect disciples were stunned. They were one of the three great orthodoxies. Even the remote antiquity clans and great sects wouldn't dare to behave atrociously in front of them. But now, someone had actually done so. Just as they were puzzled, the disciples guarding the mountain rushed over and said, "Not good, get out of the way. He's Mad God." What? He was the Mad God? Was he really here? The surrounding people quickly retreated in fear. At the same time, they sized him up carefully. This was a legendary figure. The people of Tianshui Pavilion were naturally alarmed. They rushed over with pale faces. Someone gritted his teeth and said, "Don't be too arrogant, Mad God. This is the Sky Sect. If you dare to attack us, the elders won't let you off." Elder Zhang of the Sky Sect was extremely terrifying. Not to mention, there were patriarchs as well. No matter how powerful Mad God was, he wouldn't be able to withstand a finger from Rat. Not long after, an elder flew over. He stood on the clouds and looked down. "Mad God, are you here to behave atrociously?" An extremely terrifying aura was emitted from this person. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. The late stage of the Supreme Saint. This person's aura was similar to that of the Levitation Saint. He was a peerless expert. However, Lin Xian was not afraid. He said that he was only here to look for Elder Tianshui and issue him a challenge to a life and death battle. Was this guy really going to attack Elder Tianshui? The surrounding disciples exclaimed. The elders in front also frowned. Junior brother Tianshui was currently being punished. He had already been punished for his wrongdoings. Wasn't that enough? No. Lin Xian shook his head. He waved his hand and took out a black invitation card. He threw it into the void. The invitation card shone brightly. This is a challenge. I want to fight to the death with him. What if he rejects? The elders frowned. Reject? You don't dare, right? If you don't dare, then kneel before Lin Xian and kowtow as an apology. I can spare your life. Damn it, he's too arrogant. The people of Tianshui Pavilion roared. Even the elders in front darkened their faces. Don't you think that you've gone overboard? Are you kidding me? Tianshui was their elder. If he kowtowed as an apology, wouldn't it be a slap to the Sky Sect's face? Overboard? Lin Xian sneered. Back then, when Tianshui struck out with his peerless palm, did you ever think that you've gone overboard? If Lin Xian had been beaten to death, would you have killed Elder Tianshui? You're only thinking from the perspective of the Sky Sect. Have you ever thought about Lin Xian's perspective? Do you think that Lin Xian has no background and no backing? Do you think that you can bully him as you wish? I'm here today to tell you that you can't. Fight. Kneel. Choose. Lin Xian's voice was firm and sonorous. His forcefulness shocked the people of the Sky Sect. Even the elders in front had a dark expression. To be honest, no one had ever dared to challenge the Sky Sect. Even the Levitation Saint was very courteous when he arrived. But now this Mad God was pointing at his nose and asking him to choose. He didn't want to choose either of the two options. Mad God, do you know where you are? Do you believe that I can suppress you right now? You're dreaming if you want to challenge the entire Sky Sect alone. So, I advise you to leave obediently. I'll spare your life. The elder in front had a sharp voice. Lin Xian laughed when he heard this. What? Are you going to bully me again? The Sky Sect is powerful, but so what? Lin Xian waved his hand and took out a token. This is the honor token. I'm now ranked 1000 on the Holy Gulf honor list. You should know the power I can use. The token in his hand bloomed with endless light. Lin Xian transmitted his voice into it. Summon the divine general. Not good. The elder's expression changed. He wanted to stop it, but it was too late. Moreover, he couldn't stop it at all. A spatial door formed on the token. In the next moment, a figure walked out. The person was wearing armor and looked mighty. His face was covered, and only a pair of eyes could be seen, emitting a blue light. The armor on his body also had the illusion of the sea. After it appeared, it suppressed all directions. Feeling this aura, everyone's expression changed, especially the elder. Chapter 48:66. How terrifying! Was this a divine general of the sacred Abyss Tower? The disciples of the Sky Sect felt their scalps go numb. At the same time, more and more masters were gathering here, including the masters on the Celestial Sect's profound ranking. There were also other terrifying young geniuses, including Leaf Daudenier. Leaf Daudenier's eyes glittered, and his face filled with shock. To be honest, he was very suspicious of Mad God's identity. If it was the person he guessed it to be, then it would be too surprising. Leaf Daudenier narrowed his eyes. Interesting. Let's see how far you can go. Up ahead. Elder Yuan took a deep breath and cupped his hands. Greetings, Divine General Haiyuan. Divine General Haiyuan nodded. Then he blocked Mad God with a look of surprise in his eyes. The next moment he smiled. They were looking for Mad God, but they didn't expect him to be summoned here. Mad God, what's the matter? Lin Xian said, Greetings, Senior Divine General. Today, I am here to issue a challenge. He wanted to fight Tian Shui to the death. The Tianzong threatened my life. Divine General, please protect me. But Divine General Ocean, Abyss nodded. Mad God had reached the top 1,000 of the honor roll in just 3 moves. He had a bright future ahead of him. Furthermore, they needed Mad God to do something for them. Therefore, he would definitely protect Mad God. Seeing that the other party had agreed, Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief. Sure enough, his guess was right. The identity on the Glory Fort was really useful. With nothing to worry about, Lin Xian looked at Elder Yuan in front of him. Of the 2 choices I mentioned earlier, you can choose one. Damn it. Elder Yuan clenched his teeth so hard that they broke. The faces of the people from Tianshui Pavilion also turned pale. Could it be that Elder Tianshui was really going to be forced to participate in a life-and-death battle? Mr. Zhang, you can't promise him, the people of Tianshui Pavilion shouted. Do you have the right to speak on our decisions? Lin Xian turned around and saw the sky and earth shattering around him. The people from Tianshui Pavilion spat out blood and retreated. Their faces were filled with fear. Elder Yuan's expression also changed greatly. He said, Stop, we have to discuss this matter properly. Junior brother Tianshui had been punished previously and was severely injured. He would not be able to recover in a short period of time. If you want to fight him to the death, you have to wait until he recovers his strength. Otherwise, it would be too unfair. That's right, at this moment, another 2 elders joined forces and came over. There was nothing they could do about it. Even the Ocean Abyss Divine General had come, so they had to take it seriously. After the arrival of the 2 elders, Elder Yuan, who was in the front, immediately gained confidence. In that case, give us 10 years. Junior brother, Tianshui's injuries are very serious. He won't be able to recover in a short period of time. 10 years later, he will have a battle to the death with you. Lin Xian laughed when he heard this. 10 years? The other party had no intention of participating in the death match at all. It was just a different way of saying it. He stretched out a hand and said, I'll give you 5 days. After 5 days, he must come and fight. Brat, don't be too impudent, the 2 new elders shouted angrily. Don't think that you can be arrogant in front of me just because you have a divine general. If you don't agree, fine. I'll ask Senior Divine General to send me away. But from now on, I'll kill anyone from the Sky Sect I see. That is, unless the disciples of the Sky sect never take a single step out of the mountain gate in their entire lives. Hearing this, the surrounding Sky sect disciples felt their scalps go numb. If they were targeted by such a demonic figure, they probably wouldn't even have the strength to resist. The three elders narrowed their eyes. How dare you? They were full of murderous intent. Divine General Haiyuan took a step forward. Are you going to attack someone on the Holy Gulf honor roll? Damn it. The three elders were so angry that they almost vomited blood. With the Divine General here to protect them, they couldn't do anything at all. If they didn't agree and angered the other party, given Mad God's personality, he would really do something like that. After all, he had killed the people of the Fifth Elder's faction. They even suspected that the death of the clan leader had something to do with this Mad God. Such a person was a demon. They couldn't afford to offend him. Thinking of this, they said, "Okay, 5 days. We agree." The surrounding people were in an uproar. They were shocked. They didn't expect their elders to bow down to the other party. It was unbelievable. Lin Xian smiled. "Then go back and tell Tian Shui that I won't hold back in 5 days. Divine General Haiyuan also said, then I'll wait here for 5 days. I'm also looking forward to this battle." Hearing this, the expressions of Elder Yuan and the others changed again. This way, they had no chance to attack Lin Xian at all. "Let's go." They quickly returned. It seemed that they had to use some means to restore Elder Tian Shui. Lin Xian and the Divine General of the Sea Abyss were invited into Tianzhong Valley respectfully and received extremely great treatment. They had no choice. Although they hated Mad God, they didn't dare to offend Divine General Haiyuan. Offending a Divine General was the same as offending the Sage Origin Tower. Even the Heavenly Sect had to consider the consequences. In the core area of the Heavenly Sect, Elder Yuan and the others gathered together. There were other elders flying over from afar. When they heard the news, they were also furious. How dare a Mad God behave so atrociously in front of them? Damn it. So what if he has the support of Divine General Haiyuan? Does the Heavenly Sect not have any Divine Generals? Indeed, as one of the 3 major orthodoxies, the Heavenly Sect definitely had experts on the Holy Gulf honor roll. There were even people in the Heavenly Sect who had become Divine Generals. Therefore, when they saw Lin Xian had the support of a Divine General, they instantly decided to invite their own Divine Generals. This way, the other party wouldn't dare to be arrogant. However, at this moment, Elder Yuan sighed. The others might be able to do it, but Mad God was probably not ordinary. He had made it to the 1000th place on the honor roll in 3 battles. Who knew how far he would go in the 4th battle? Some people even guessed that he was another emperor's son. Even the inner circle of the Abyss Tower would not easily touch such a person. Moreover, he was challenging Elder Tian Shui this time. Although Tian Shui was an elder, he was only a mid-supreme saint. Moreover, he did break the rules in front of everyone by attacking a young man. Therefore, they didn't have a good reason to stop him. Many people sighed. In the end, it was still a matter of benefits. If Mad God challenged Kunpingzi this time, no one would agree. They would use all their reinforcements to stop him. However, it was a pity that he was only challenging Elder Tian Shui, a person who was punished. Therefore, they wouldn't use all their trump cards. It seemed that they could only fight. They would give more resources to Tian Shui so that he could recover in 5 days. 5 days later, they couldn't afford to lose this battle. Elder Yuan nodded. "I'll go and prepare now." Tian Shui, mountain range. Elder Tian Shui was currently recuperating. The punishment from a month ago had indeed injured him badly. Suddenly, he heard one of his subordinates reporting to him. Mad God wanted to challenge him to a battle to the death. He was instantly enraged. Chapter 48-67. Despicable brat, you've gone too far. If I'm not injured, I'll definitely slap you to death. Tian Shui roared. He wasn't worried at all. In his opinion, the Sky Sect would reject him for her sake. However, when Elder Yuan arrived, he was stunned. Elder Yuan said, "Junior brother Tianxue, you have to recover to your peak within 5 days and engage in a battle of life and death." What? How was that possible? 5 days? Elder Tianxue was stunned. Didn't you reject him? Elder Yuan shook his head. He couldn't reject him. You can only fight. How could this be? Elder Tianxue was stunned. He didn't know what was going on. However, this time, Elder Yuan represented the Sky Sect's will. This meant that it couldn't be changed. Damn it. He clenched his teeth so hard. However, Elder Yuan said, "Junior brother, don't worry. We'll provide enough resources for you to recover. We can even let you consume a secret pill and reach your peak within 5 days. Of course, you know that the secret pill has side effects. I'm afraid that you won't be able to recover within 30 years after reaching your peak. So, you have to think carefully. Try your best to recover first. If you can't, you can consume the secret pill. I understand. Thank you, senior brother." Tianxue nodded, but his expression was cold. At their level, they couldn't break through even after cultivating for hundreds or even thousands of years. However, this and not cultivating were two completely different situations. If you didn't cultivate for 30 years and got injured, you wouldn't be able to catch up with others for the rest of your life. Therefore, unless it was absolutely necessary, Elder Tianxue didn't want to consume this secret pill. He put it away and prepared to focus on recovering from his injuries. On the other side, in the valley, Lin Xian was also silently adjusting his condition. Elder Haiyuan's eyes flickered. He was very curious. What kind of face was under this demonic aura? Was he an expert of the older generation or a young genius? There were even a few times when he couldn't help but want to tear apart the demonic aura. However, he still restrained himself. Using demonic aura to cover his body and using his title meant that he didn't want to reveal his true identity. Naturally, he couldn't force it. However, he was still curious. Mad God was strong, but the combat power he displayed was only at the beginning stage of a supreme saint. Elder Tianxue was at the middle stage of a supreme saint. Could Mad God challenge those above his level? Or did he have a trump card? He was looking forward to it. This matter quickly spread, so much so that everyone in the Holy Abyss ancient city knew about it. In an instant, countless people cried out in alarm. What? Mad God was about to attack again. Who was it this time? It was Elder Tianxue. Heavens, had Mad God ascended to the celestial sect? It was said that he even challenged the elders of the Sky Sect. God, would he be able to come back safely? Cries of surprise could be heard. The heavenly sect was one of the 3 great orthodoxies. How terrifying was that ancient city? Who would dare to behave atrociously in such a place? But Mad God dared to do so. 5 days later, there would be a life and death battle. Let's go and take a look. This time, countless people had gathered here. The last time they were so excited was during the battle between Lin Xian and Yi Qin. At that time, it was a battle between 2 young, peak-level geniuses. This time, Elder Tianxue was a great sage middle stage. He was a Tianzong elder and was very strong. As for the Mad God, he was even more extraordinary and incomparably mysterious. No one knew his identity or cultivation base. However, they knew that he was ranked 1,000 on the honor roll. Such combat strength was equally terrifying. There was a limit to the ranking on the Elysium honor roll. One had to be at least a great sage. Moreover, one could not exceed the great sage middle stage. In other words, those below the great sage middle stage could not challenge the honor roll at all. However, this did not mean that the people on the honor roll were not weaker than the great sage middle stage. The Dragon Prince Kuinpingzi and the others were not even great sages, but they could occupy the first place. Kuinpingzi, in particular, had reached the top and become the One Crown King. Their strength was probably more terrifying than the great sage middle stage. This was only the One Crown King. It was said that there had been a three-crowned king in the past. Even people like Elder Yuan and the Levitation Saint were terrified of that power. Therefore, everyone was looking forward to this battle. Lingxiao Peak. It was a very famous peak in the Holy Origin ancient city. It was 90,000 meters tall. It was like a divine sword piercing the clouds. Usually very few people came here, but today it was extremely lively. Damn it, what was going on? Why were there so many humans here? In the sky, a few green rocks and divine eagles frowned. They flapped their wings unhappily. They would come to Lingxiao Peak every month. They would stand on the peak and absorb the qi of heaven and earth to cultivate. But now they were not allowed to go up. Damn it, who was it? The experts from the heavenly sect stood there and said that there would be a battle at Lingxiao Peak in a few days. No one was allowed to go up to avoid setting up formations. Damn it, they were from the heavenly sect. A green rock was shocked. The divine eagle also said, "Who was going to fight?" Were there people from the heavenly sect? They were not the only ones who were stopped. Everyone else was stopped as well. Whether it was the clan of the ancients, the great sects, or even the True Path sect and the Earth sect, they could only wait at the foot of the mountain. No one was allowed to go up. Who knew if Mad God's teammates were hiding among these people? If they set up a killing formation, Tianxue would be in danger. Of course, they did not dare to do so. After all, doing so would be challenging the sacred Origin Tower. Therefore, they tried their best to stop everyone. The Levitation Saint from the True Path sect was also there. Baisusu was beside him. Baisusu was extremely excited. She could finally see the legendary Mad God. She wondered what he was like. Beside her, the people from the Divine Union were also clenching their fists. The Crimson Dragon, Fu Hongye, and the others were also there. They were also a little nervous because they knew that Mad God was Lin Xian. Other than Fu Hongye and Lu Yuan, only the Crimson Dragon and the other four knew about this secret. Other than them, no one else knew about it, including Baisusu. Therefore, these people were extremely excited at this moment. Baisusu also said that Lin Xian was actually in seclusion at such a crucial time. He was going to miss out on an earth-shattering battle. The people at the side laughed. "Don't worry, the formation we brought will record this battle and show it to Boss Lin." The Duga clan and the Nailan clan were also there. Other than them, the Blue clan and the Dragon Palace experts were also there. They were all waiting. At this moment, two figures descended from the sky. They were here. Countless people turned their heads to look. They saw two people. One of them was wearing battle armor and had a terrifying aura. They knew that this was divine General Shenyuan, and the other person should be Mad God. What a terrifying demonic aura. Countless people were shocked. They saw that the demonic aura on the other person was like an unparalleled demon. They could not see his face clearly. Could Mad God be an expert of the demonic path? Chapter 48-68. The Levitation Saint was shocked. This was the first time he had seen such a godlike figure. However, for some reason, he felt like he had seen this person before. It was a strange feeling, but after thinking about it carefully, he couldn't remember when he had seen this person before. He was a late-stage great sage. This feeling couldn't be wrong. Could it be someone he knew? He was shocked. After thinking about it, he couldn't think of anyone. Could it be the Mad God? Perhaps he had heard too many legends about him recently and was overthinking it. The Levitation Saint shook his head and stopped thinking about it. The others were also discussing it. After Lin Xian arrived, he went straight to the top of the Lingxiao Peak. His body kept rising until he finally stood on top of the Lingxiao Peak and looked down. Now that he had arrived, the Sky Sect members no longer stopped him and started to lower their defenses. Countless figures rose into the sky. They wanted to occupy an advantageous position to watch the battle. "Father, bring us up," Baisu said. The Levitation Saint waved his hand and opened his sacred region. He brought Baisu, the Crimson Dragon, and the other divine union members up into the sky and into the 9 heavens. Apart from him, there were also some terrifying people standing in the 9 heavens. These people weren't any weaker than the levitation saint. Among them, Old Master Linghu and Nalanda were also there. They represented 2 top families and had the right to stand there. Apart from them, the others landed one after another. The positions were arranged according to one's status and strength. Lin Xian stood on the highest peak of the Lingshao Peak with his hands behind his back. He looked around and saw many familiar faces. The levitation saint, Old Master Dugu, Nalanda, Fire Dragon Lady, Qingfeng, and even Bai Lifei were there. Further away were Bluepool and Wind Dragon from the Dragon Palace. Yi Wudao, the Earth Sex Overlord, and Lin Xian even saw Light and Alcade. They were all here to watch the battle. Lin Xian's lips curled up. He wondered how many of them knew his true identity. Well, he would show everyone the power of the Mad God today. The Sky Sect members were naturally there too. Elder Yuan stood in the 9 heavens with a cold expression. There were many disciples following behind him. Some of them were from the Tianshui Pavilion. These people clenched their fists. Just wait and see. Their Sky Sect would definitely not lose this battle. Lin Xian's gaze swept past these people. Then he looked into the distance. A terrifying light burst out from his eyes, piercing through heaven and earth. The others also turned around. It's coming. They saw an old man flying over quickly. Beside him, terrifying seawater surrounded him. It was Elder Tianshui. Elder Tianshui was like a sea deity as he came with a strong aura. His injuries from before seemed to have disappeared. From the looks of it, the other party had been absorbing countless natural resources over the past 5 days in order to recover fully. After all, this battle not only concerned his life, but also the heavenly sect's reputation. Tianshui came to the vicinity of Lingshao Peak and stared at Lin Xian. Mad God, you want to stand up for Lin Xian? Fight me to the death? Today I'll send you to hell. His voice was filled with confidence. Elder Yuan and the others heaved a sigh of relief. Great. It seemed that Tianshui had recovered. Then there was no need to fear this battle. Because of the restrictions of the Holy Gulf list, Mad God was at most an early stage Supreme Saint. Even so, there was still a gap between him and Tianshui, and it was very likely that Tianshui was not even a Supreme Saint. In this case, the gap between them would be even greater. Hence, they were confident in this battle. You are not qualified to say this. Lin Xian looked at Tianshui. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Back then, Tianshui had used his power to bully him. Today he would take revenge. So what if Tianshui was a mid-stage Supreme Saint? Today, Lin Xian would also use his strongest trump card. Moreover, others did not notice, but Lin Xian had the heavenly secret prodigy. He noticed that although Tianshui's aura seemed powerful, he was injured and had not fully recovered. Tianshui was not at the pinnacle and could not compete with him. Tianshui frowned when he saw the cold light in Tianshui's eyes. Tianshui was terrified by Tianshui's gaze. It seemed that Tianshui had seen through his secret. Humph, I hate this look. Later, I will make it disappear forever. Elder Tianshui sneered. Let's start the battle. I want to see what courage you have to fight me to the death. Beside Elder Tianshui, terrifying heavenly spirit, holy water appeared. It covered the sky. Heavenly spirit, holy sword. With a wave of his hand, endless heavenly water law condensed into a holy sword and fell from the sky. The surrounding people exclaimed. Elder Tianshui had used his ultimate technique right from the start. It seemed that Elder Tianshui was not giving Tianshui a chance. The heavenly water holy sword released a terrifying aura between heaven and earth. It was as if it wanted to split heaven and earth in half. In the face of such a terrifying attack, Lin Xian smiled. Light of the demon god. With a wave of his hand, endless light of the demon god flew out and covered the sky. It seemed to have turned into a sword of the demon world. Boom! It collided with Tianshui's heavenly spirit, holy sword. What a useless brat! Sensing the light of the demon god, Elder Tianshui sneered. He could see that Lin Xian was only at the early stage of the great sage realm and could not be compared to him. As expected, Tianshui's heavenly spirit, holy sword, split all the light of the demon god apart and charged towards Lin Xian. So fast! Countless people exclaimed. Lin Xian's figure flashed and disappeared instantly. A black hole appeared where he was standing. It was broken. You're just SOO. You want to compete with me with this little strength? Elder Tianshui laughed. The people from the heavenly sect heaved a sigh of relief. They could see that the gap between the two was huge. The others exclaimed. What was going on? Could it be that Mad God could not win? No, he was very powerful. Some people said that Mad God was powerful, but was Elder Tianshui weak? He was a mid-stage great sage, an elder of the heavenly sect. Did you think that he would be killed like the young man? His strength was comparable to the Nailin family. Powerful. Mad God was going to lose this time. That was for sure. The people from the heavenly sect sneered. Not only was he going to lose, but this was a battle of life and death. If he lost, he would die. Their eyes were filled with cold, murderous intent. On the other side, the Crimson Dragon, Fu Hongye, and the others were nervous. Was it too much? Lin Xian's eyes were also flickering. His opponent was indeed powerful and was seriously injured, but he was not someone an early-stage great sage could compare to. The gap between the two was too big. However, Lin Xian was not afraid. This time, he had originally planned to use his super trump card. So everything in front of him was within his expectations. Kid, you are no match for me at all. Leave any last words, or I will send you to hell. With a wave of his hand, two more Tianshui's heavenly spirit, holy swords appeared. 3 Tianshui's heavenly spirit, holy swords descended from the sky. This time, they blocked all of Lin Xian's escape routes from all directions. He would never give his opponent a chance to escape again. It's over. Mad God is dead. Countless people shook their heads. They did not expect the battle to end so quickly. Chapter 48-69. Facing this peerless attack, a black jar appeared in Lin Xian's hand. It created a terrifying vortex that swallowed the heavens and earth. The 3 terrifying celestial spirit, holy swords were all swallowed. Not dead? The people from the celestial sect couldn't believe it. The others were also in an uproar. Among them, the pupils of many great saints shrank as they stared fixedly at the black jar. What was that? They were shocked. It seemed to be a very powerful weapon that could swallow the celestial spirit, holy swords. It was not simple. No wonder Mad God dared to fight him to the death. He had a powerful trump card. One after another, voices were heard. The Crimson Dragon and the others heaved a sigh of relief. Great! Taking out the sky-devouring jar meant that Lin Xian had decided to go all out. This time, he would definitely not be defeated. Bai Susu was also surprised. Wasn't that Lin Xian's weapon? However, when she thought about the close relationship between Lin Xian and Mad God, she understood. Perhaps it was Mad God's weapon, or Lin Xian had lent it to Mad God. From the beginning to the end, she didn't think of the two of them as the same person because it was too shocking. It wasn't just her. Even her father, the levitation saint, didn't think so. In front, Elder Tianshui's pupils constricted and his face darkened. He still had a powerful Dharma treasure. After I kill you, this treasure will be mine. He felt an extremely terrifying aura from the sky-devouring jar, which made him very jealous. You're trash. You don't have the right to use such a treasure. As he spoke, he attacked again. Heavenly Water Fist. With a punch, the heavens collapsed and the earth cracked. The Heavenly Water Law surged out and attacked Lin Xian. Lin Xian activated the sky-devouring jar with all his strength and crazily devoured his opponent's power. The terrifying fist and heavenly water law attacked Lin Xian, but they were all swallowed. Damn it, I don't believe you can control it forever. Elder Tianshui attacked crazily. However, all he did was shatter the void. Lin Xian stood there like a god-fiend, watching coldly. It was about time. Lin Xian took a deep breath. The heaven-swallowing jar was the same as the great dragon sword spirit. With his current strength, he could only display a portion of its power. If one wanted to unleash an extremely powerful attack, one would have to exceed the amount of power one could withstand. Either he burned his life force, regardless of the cost, or he had to provide external power and resources. This time, Lin Xian planned to borrow the power of the Force Spirit Valley. His voice was transmitted back to the Sword World. For spiritual beasts, provide me with strength. When the 4 spiritual beasts heard the message, they raised their heads to the sky and roared, transmitting the power of the 4 spiritual valley. Lin Xian felt a surge of energy that wanted to tear his body apart. He didn't dare to be careless and instantly transferred this energy to the heaven-devouring jar. The heaven-devouring jar shook violently. There were countless demonic runes on it, as if it wanted to devour the world. At this moment, the entire world darkened. Everyone was terrified. They felt as if their bodies were about to be swallowed up by the darkness. Hurry up and leave. They retreated in a frenzy. Even Elder Yuan, the levitation saint, and the others were terrified and quickly retreated. What kind of weapon was that? Was it the legendary thing? Damn it, what was going on? How could you unleash such terrifying power? Elder Tianshui was stunned. This was different from what he had imagined. What kind of secret pill did the other party consume? This power was too terrifying. Damn it, could it be that he was burning his life force? What a lunatic. He also retreated quickly, unwilling to fight back. However, how could he escape? Lin Xian held the heaven-devouring jar in his hand, like a god that could devour the heavens, devouring the world. Elder Tianshui felt that he was enveloped by a force. His soul seemed to be leaving his body, and his body seemed to be melting. Damn it, get out of my way. He attacked frantically. Between heaven and earth, countless heavenly spirits' sacred swords tore through the void, slashing towards Lin Xian, wanting to kill him. However, all of this was blocked by the heaven-devouring jar. The heaven-devouring jar descended from the sky, covering half of Elder Tianshui's body. His body instantly turned into a bloody mist. No! Elder Tianshui screamed crazily, trying to escape. In the end, his upper body was smashed into pieces, leaving only his head. He managed to escape. After that attack, the darkness between heaven and earth disappeared. Lin Xian stood there with a cold expression. The others looked over. How was it? When they saw that only Elder Tianshui's head was left, they were all stunned. How was that possible? Elder Tianshui was severely injured in an instant? That was too unbelievable. His opponent was simply too terrifying. That weapon of his was actually so strange. It was the legendary weapon. The people of the Sky Sect were also shocked. Lin Xian sneered. With the heaven-devouring jar in his hand, he walked forward again. What are your last words? Stay, or I'll send you to hell. Elder Tianshui had said those words to him before, and now he was repeating them word for word. Elder Tianshui was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. Elder Yuan also said, Crazy God, I want you to kneel and apologize to Lin Xian. Can you stop? Lin Xian glanced at him and sneered. It was too late. Go to hell and apologize. The heaven-devouring jar released a terrifying aura again. Elder Tianshui's expression turned ugly. Kid, do you think you're the only one with a trump card? I have one too. You burned your life force for that attack just now, right? You don't have the strength to launch another attack like that now. As for me, I can return to my peak in an instant. Let's see how you die now. Elder Tianxue seemed to have gone crazy. A pill flew out from between his eyebrows, and he swallowed it. Boom! A terrifying blood-red light shrouded him. He roared at the sky, and his broken body quickly recovered. On top of that, his aura was constantly rising. What's that? Bai Susu and the others were shocked. The others were also in an uproar. The old man of the Dugu family narrowed his eyes. Could it be a secret pill from the heavens? I heard that it's a very powerful pill. It can restore a severely injured person to their peak in an instant and maintain super combat power. However, this pill has a very strong side effect. After the pill's effect wears off, the person will be weak for decades. It will be difficult for them to return to their peak. It seems like Elder Tianxue is really desperate. That's why he used such a trump card. Hearing this, countless people were shocked. The price was indeed high, but he could return to his peak. With a clang, the blood-red light disappeared. Elder Tianxue walked out. His strength was even stronger than before. At this moment, even his internal injuries had recovered. He was shining brightly like a god of the sea, standing there. His gaze swept across, and the sky fell and the earth cracked. Everyone felt a sense of fear. Kid, I've already returned to my peak. Do you still have the strength to fight me? If not, I'll let you experience the feeling of living a life worse than death. Tianxue roared. The precepts of Tianxue gathered on his body, forming a sword of water that he held. Then he charged forward. The spectators could only sigh when they felt the vast amount of power. This time, Mad God was really in danger. However, Lin Xian's lips curled into a cold smile. He's out of strength? What a joke! He has a sword world behind him. Chapter 4870. The four spiritual beasts are giving me power. Lin Xian transmitted his voice again. Inside the sword world, the four spiritual beasts were about to go crazy when they heard that. F***CK, kid, can you not be such a wastrel? There isn't much power gathered in this world, and you've used so much this time. Don't you feel heartache? Cut the crap and send it to me. Lin Xian transmitted his voice. The four spiritual beasts had no choice. This world belonged to him, and they were just housekeepers. Hence, they could only send their power over. Devour. Lin Xian sent out a super strong power to the heaven-devouring jar. The heaven-devouring jar bloomed, turning into a black ray of light that pierced through the front. No, Elder Tianxue was going crazy. How could his opponent still make such a strong attack? And why wasn't his opponent dead? Wasn't he burning his power? Could it be that he guessed wrong? He was filled with regret and wanted to escape, but it was too late. With this attack, the heaven-devouring jar swallowed his soul completely. It was crushed by the merciless darkness and turned into nothingness. Buzz! Elder Tianxue's body fell from the sky and landed on the ground. The ground cracked and turned into a canyon. Was he dead? Countless people were shocked. They couldn't believe it. The people of Tianxue Pavilion fainted from fright. The Sky Sect elder's face was cold. How could it be? Even after consuming the secret pill, Tianxue still died. Damn it! How did this kid have the strength to use so much power? And this legendary black jar that could devour the heavens and the earth. Could it be that terrifying weapon, the heaven-devouring jar? Could it be that this mad god had some connection with the heavenly court? In an instant, countless people were discussing in shock. Take his body and leave. Elder Yuan gritted his teeth and waved his hand. The people of the Sky Sect quickly snatched Elder Tianxue's body back and left. This time it was too embarrassing. They would probably become a joke. Lin Xian's figure flickered as he soared into the sky. He put away the heaven-devouring jar because he realized that many people had their eyes on him. It seemed that they were all after the heaven-devouring jar. He wouldn't give them a chance. Before disappearing, The divine general of the ocean abyss sent a voice transmission saying, "We still have some matters to discuss with you. When the time comes, go to the sacred abyss tower." Lin Xian replied, and then his body disappeared. Meanwhile, some of the top great sages were also vanishing. From the looks of it, they went to search for him. However, not long after, they shook their heads and returned, sighing. He ran away. The other party's speed was faster than they had imagined. The battle ended quickly. Countless people were shocked. The news instantly spread, and Mad God's reputation rose again. Everyone was guessing. The other party's ranking was definitely not as simple as the top 1,000. With the addition of the terrifying heaven-devouring jar, the other party's ranking could definitely rise. Before the members of the Nalen family were frightened, they were still somewhat unconvinced about the death of the fifth elder. However, they were forcefully suppressed by the new patriarch. But now, there was no need for the new patriarch to say anything. No one dared to take revenge. They had seen Mad God's strength with their own eyes. He was too strong, so strong that they found it hard to resist. Many top geniuses even considered Mad God their idol. On the other side, Lin Xian returned to his spiritual abode and retracted the demonic aura all over his body. He knew that Bai Susu and the rest should be back soon. Not long after, Bai Susu and the rest of the Divine Union rushed back. "Lin Xian, come out quickly!" Bai Susu shouted happily. Lin Xian pretended to be surprised when he came out. What was she so happy about? Bai Susu said, "It's a pity that you didn't go." The members of the Divine Union nodded their heads vigorously. Yes, boss. Mad God was too strong. He had destroyed a mid-great sage elder in a few moves. It was simply heaven-defying. But it's okay, boss. We have already recorded it with an array formation. Look, these people had recorded the previous scene. Lin Xian nodded his head after watching it. It was indeed very cool. The Crimson Dragon, Lu Yuan, and the rest had strange looks on their faces. They didn't know what this kid was thinking when he saw the scene of the battle. A group of people cheered here. On the other side, the members of the Dragon Palace looked gloomy. Lan Zi gritted his teeth and said, "This Mad God was too powerful. He was already famous in the ancient city. Plus, he had that weapon of his. Ordinary great sages wouldn't dare to go against him." The abominable thing was that Mad God was related to Lin Xian. In this case, they would probably have to give Lin Xian some face. Wind Dragon laughed. No matter how strong Mad God was, he wouldn't dare to go against the Dragon Palace. The trump card of the Dragon Palace wasn't something he could imagine. When the time came, a few late great sage elders would come out and he would be dead. There was nothing to be afraid of. By the way, I have already arranged for you to get in touch with the Dragon Prince. How is it? Hearing this, Lan Ziyu smiled. Very good. I've successfully attracted his attention. I am going to show my charm in the next few days. I will succeed soon. Lan Ziyu had been thinking of various ways to get in touch with the Dragon Prince these days. In addition to Wine Dragon's secret help and persuasion, the Dragon Prince also met Lan Ziyu a few times. The more he met him, the more he liked him. This woman was not bad. To be honest, he never lacked women around him. But this time it was Wind Dragon who recommended him and even helped a lot. In the end, Lan Ziyu really stayed by the Dragon Prince's side. Lan Ziyu was very happy. With the help of the Dragon Prince, Lin Xian would be dead for sure. The Dragon Prince had too many resources around him. It was the power of many worlds, which Lan Ziyu had never come into contact with before. She stayed by the Dragon Prince's side. Her strength had improved by leaps and bounds in the past few days, which shocked her. No wonder the gap between the two sides was so big. Just these resources alone were enough to sweep everything. That Lin Xian still wanted to go against the Dragon Prince? What kind of joke was this? Did he have such resources? Lan Ziyu started a revenge plan in her heart. Holy Abyss City was incomparably crazy. During this period, countless top geniuses went to the Holy Abyss Tower to prepare for the challenge. Mad God had shocked the world with a single feat from the Holy Abyss Tower. They also wanted to go down this path. But unfortunately, the Holy Abyss Tower was not a place that any genius could challenge. Most of the geniuses couldn't even reach the first level, which made them despair. Mad God entered the top 1,000 3 times. How terrifying was that? Among them, one person succeeded. Not only that, his ranking rose in a straight line. He directly entered the top 10,000 in his first challenge, and his ranking continued to rise. Finally, it stopped at the top 5,000. Everyone went crazy. Who was this person? It was too terrifying. Was another mad god rising to power? Countless people were discussing. They stared at the name on the glory leaderboard. Who was Eastern Sage? Go and find him. Chapter 48-71. Eastern Sage's rise was like a comet, shocking countless people. They quickly searched the area, but they didn't find anything. Damn it, what was going on? Why was Eastern Sage as mysterious as Mad God? These people were crazy. Which side's genius expert had appeared? Yi Wudao walked out of the Holy Gulf Tower with a smile on his face. Eastern Sage was naturally him. He had already guessed who Mad God was, so he had used his title to enter. Eastern Sage's name spread throughout wholly distant ancient city once again. In an instant, the ancient families and great sects were shocked. Even the 3 great orthodoxies were in an uproar. The people of the Divine Union were guessing who this Eastern Sage was. After Lin Xian heard this, his lips curled into a smile. Eastern Sage? What a familiar name. Back in the quintessential world, the 5 young geniuses had their own titles. He was given the title of Middle Emperor, while Eastern Sage was naturally Yi Wudao. It had to be him. It seemed like there was no way to hide it. Where are Rizalong and Toad? Get them to prepare a congratulatory gift for me. I want to give it to Wudao. The Crimson Dragon flew over and said, I'll prepare it. Toad and Crimson Leaf have gone on a mission. Oh, what kind of mission was it? The current Divine Union was much stronger than it had been in the past, so most of the missions were carried out by other people. Who would have thought that Toad would go with Fu Hongyu and the rest this time? The Crimson Dragon said, not only that, but Lu Yuan, Nailin Liang, Yurin, and the rest are also going. Even Bai Susu is going. It seemed like it was a huge mission. Why didn't they call him? The Crimson Dragon rolled his eyes. Mad God, who would dare to call you when you were so busy? Lin Xian smiled and slapped him. Let's go and prepare the gift. We're going to meet Wudao. Lin Xian took out a spiritual medicine from the 4 Spirit Valley and sealed it before heading to the Sky Sect with the Crimson Dragon. The people of the Sky Sect were stunned when they saw Lin Xian. This guy actually dared to come. Those experts were also gnashing their teeth, but Lin Xian didn't care at all. He was here for a normal visit, so these people definitely wouldn't dare to make a move. As expected, no one dared to touch them. Lin Xian called for Leaf Dowdenier to arrive. I can't believe you 2 would come. What a rare sight. Come on. Leaf Dowdenier invited Lin Xian and Yang Qi inside. Leaf Dowdenier's mountain range was one of the top. After entering, Lin Xian took out the spiritual medicine and said, This is for you. Congratulations. You have officially entered the Holy Gulf list. Leaf Dowdenier laughed. It seems I really can't hide anything from you. Lin Xian said, Aren't I the same? You should have guessed it by now. Leaf Dowdenier nodded, and the 2 exchanged their experiences in the sacred Abyss Tower. Leaf Dowdenier went on to say, Actually, if you hadn't come, I would have gone looking for you anyway. Something strange happened recently. What strange thing? Lin Xian was shocked. Leaf Dowdenier lowered his voice and said, Elder Tianxue, you killed him. His corpse was brought back, but before he could be buried, it mysteriously disappeared. Lin Xian's pupils shrank when he heard this. The Crimson Dragon was also shocked. Who would want a corpse? What use would it be? Could it be that it had been turned into a puppet? If that was the case, then I'm not worried. I'm worried that it was that guy who did it. Lin Xian frowned and thought of a certain person. Are you talking about Yao Guang? He had encountered Yao Guang when he had clashed with the Violet Palace realm. At that time, Yao Guang had been very low-key and hadn't made a move. Instead, he had been hiding in the distance, collecting the corpses of various experts. Leaf Dowdenier nodded. That's right, it was him. According to the information I received, Yao Guang cultivated a forbidden divine ability, the heaven-devouring demonic art. It was actually that kind of martial art. The Crimson Dragon was also shocked. Wasn't that a technique that had been lost long ago? The damned Violet Palace realm even had such a thing. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. He seemed to have heard about this from Qin Xianer. What exactly was going on? Yi Wudao said. Speaking of which, the heaven-devouring demonic palace is somewhat related to you. Lin Xian was shocked. Yi Wudao continued. Back then, there was a great emperor known as the heaven-devouring great emperor. It was said that he had grasped the devouring sword. The devouring law could extinguish everything. As the heaven-devouring great emperor, he wasn't a peak genius. In fact, he was just an ordinary person. Logically speaking, becoming a king should have been his limit. It was impossible for him to become a saint. However, he had accidentally obtained the devouring sword. Through devouring various experts and natural treasures, his constitution and talent were constantly changing. In the end, he swept through the world and became a great emperor. There were 3 of the most famous treasures. The devouring sword had existed before the heaven-devouring great emperor, so it was natural that countless people yearned for it. The heaven-devouring great emperor was also extremely terrifying. He had created 2 great treasures. The first was his self-created emperor's scripture, the heaven-devouring demonic art. This was a cultivation technique that he had created and evolved. After countless experiments, he had devoured all the geniuses in the world. In that era, experts from the primordial aristocratic families, great sects, and various sacred grounds were devoured by him. It could be said that he was the enemy of the entire world. However, the other party was truly terrifying. He had killed his way to the great emperor realm. Moreover, it was said that he was also a madman. In the end, he had even devoured himself. It was said that the heaven-devouring jar was made from his physique. Lin Xian was shocked when he heard this. The heaven-devouring great emperor, the heaven-devouring jar, the heaven-devouring demonic art. He had half of the heaven-devouring jar. It must be related to the heaven-devouring great emperor, and that Yao Guang had cultivated this forbidden technique, the heaven-devouring demonic art. It seemed that there would be a battle in the future. Lin Xian frowned. That Yao Guang definitely wanted the heaven-devouring jar. It seemed that he had to be careful in the future. The heaven-devouring demonic art was a forbidden technique in the emperor's scripture. Because it was too terrifying, anyone who cultivated it would be an enemy of all the geniuses in the world. Therefore, no matter how strong Yao Guang was, he wouldn't dare to show it. He could only act in secret. Lin Xian and the others understood this. However, Yao Guang was from the Purple Palace. If the Purple Palace wanted to return to its peak, they would definitely support Yao Guang in secret. It seemed that they had to be more careful. Lin Xian said, "When I return, I will send people to keep an eye on the other party and gather information about him." Yi Wudao said, "The Yi family will also pay attention." After all, if the other party wanted to become a great emperor, Lin Xian and Yi Wudao would probably be his targets. How could they not pay attention? Both parties conversed for a long time. A few days later, Lin Xian left. On the way back, Lin Xian asked the Crimson Dragon to prepare to send people from the Divine Union to gather information about Yao Guang. However, when they returned to the Divine Union, something unexpected happened. The entire Divine Union was shocked and in an uproar, everyone frantically searching for Lin Xian. When they saw Lin Xian return, the people around him were on the verge of tears. "Boss, this is bad. Something has happened. What's going on?" Lin Xian's expression changed. He immediately summoned the heavenly void beast and teleported them back to the Divine Union. After returning, a white-robed figure flew over and cried, "Lin Xian, this is bad. Something big has happened." Chapter 48:72. Lin Xian was stunned when he heard this. He did not even recognize the person in front of him. Soon he realized that it was Bai Susu. What was wrong with her? Her white clothes were stained with snow, and there was blood on her face. Someone had attacked Bai Susu. Lin Xian was in disbelief. Bai Susu's father was the levitation saint, an elder of the True Path sect. His position was much more terrifying than Elder Tianshui's. Who would dare to attack Bai Susu? What was going on? "Don't panic, tell me slowly," Lin Xian said. At the same time, he took out many elixirs and gave them to Bai Susu. Bai Susu said that she was not injured and that the blood on her body was not hers. It was the enemy's. However, she had escaped and they were in trouble. They had all been captured. Who were they? Lin Xian furrowed his brows tightly. The Crimson Dragon exclaimed. Could it be Hongye, Toad, and the rest? Lin Xian's expression changed. The Crimson Dragon had said that Bai Susu and the rest had gone on a huge mission. Many experts had been mobilized, and only Bai Susu had returned. Could the rest have been suppressed? Bai Susu was right. Toad, Fu Hongye, Lu Yuan, Nalan Liang, and Yurin had all been captured. Apart from them, the other members of the Divine Union had all been killed. Lin Xian was instantly enraged. He understood that someone had attacked the Divine Union. Who was the enemy? His eyes were filled with killing intent. In an instant, the 9 heavens were shattered. He was really angry. Previously, he had destroyed the 5th Elder's faction, ascended to the Sky Sect, and killed Elder Tianshui, shocking the ancient city. However, he had not expected that someone would be so reckless as to attack the Divine Union directly. Did they not want to live anymore? It was the Dragon Palace. Bai Susu sighed deeply as she recounted the matter to him. It turned out that the Dragon Palace had released this mission. Bai Susu and the rest had gone there, but had been ambushed along the way. The Dragon Palace had been waiting on the path they had to pass. They had set up a supreme killing array and taken various sacred weapons. For a moment, they suffered a heavy blow. The Dragon Palace had prepared meticulously and sent out too many experts. Therefore, even though Bai Susu, the Toad, and the others were strong, they were still suppressed. It was even suppressed. Since Bai Susu was the daughter of an elder, the people of the Dragon Palace did not dare to suppress her. Moreover, they needed someone to inform them. So he released Bai Susu. As for the others, they were all suppressed, and some of them even died in battle. Lin Xian's eyes turned red after hearing this. The Crimson Dragon also roared. Damn it, we haven't even made a move yet. And they actually dared to attack first. Kill! He roared, and the people in the distance felt their scalps go numb. They were unable to act within the Dao sect, and they had to wait for us to leave the sect before they acted. If you go to the Dragon Palace now, the elders will mercilessly suppress you. Damn it! The Crimson Dragon roared. Lin Xian took a deep breath and tried to calm his killing intent. What about Hong Yi, Toad, and the others? Where was it suppressed? The current plan was not to take revenge, but to rescue the people first. These people had a special relationship with him, and he would not allow them to die. Bai Susu said, I think they are not in danger for the time being. Before they release me, they told me to come back and inform you. However, they will send someone to inform you of the details. I guess they are targeting you. Lin Xian's face turned cold. The Dragon Palace had been targeting him for a long time. However, it was impossible for an ordinary member to arrange such a meticulous plan and mobilize so many experts. It had to be a core member of the Dragon Palace. Who was it? He immediately thought of the Dragon Prince. He was afraid that only the Dragon Prince could mobilize so many experts. Susu, use your father's power to secretly investigate if the Dragon Prince was behind this. Susu nodded, changed her clothes, and left quickly. Lin Xian ordered the people of the Divine Union not to leave the Dao sect for now. In the past, those who went out to carry out missions were to find a place to hide. The people of the Divine Union were also shocked. They had not expected to start a war with the Dragon Palace so soon. They quickly took action. This kid would definitely not let the Dragon Palace off this time. The Crimson Dragon gritted his teeth. Lin Xian's expression was also cold. He had said that he would not let them off. He had originally wanted to gather some strength before attacking the Dragon Palace. However, since they did not know what was good for them, he would let them know how powerful they were. Lin Xian decided that he would rescue Fu Hongye and the others at all costs. At the same time, he would not let off anyone who had participated in this attack. Susu's actions were very fast. After all, her father was an elder. She used some of her power and quickly investigated. The Dragon Prince had a new cultivation partner. It was Lan Ziyu. Lan Ziyu had been introduced by Feng Long. In an instant, Lin Xian understood that Lan Ziyu must have teamed up with the Dragon Prince. Lin Xian had previously killed Lan Zilu and slapped Lan Ziyu hard in the face. Lan Ziyu wanted revenge, but he did not have the strength. He had not expected that Lan Ziyu would become the cultivation partner of the Dragon Prince. It seemed that Lan Ziyu did not need to exist anymore. There was still the Blue Tribe. Lin Xian's eyes were filled with killing intent. What should he do next? The Crimson Dragon gritted his teeth. Lin Xian said, Wait for them to come and find us. During this period, they did not stay idle. They gathered a large amount of resources with the Crimson Dragon and started to set up the array. Lin Xian set up the spiritual transfer array while the Crimson Dragon set up the killing array. 5 days later, someone finally came to find them. The person who came was called Lan Yu. She was a woman from the Blue Tribe and was Lan Ziyu's younger sister. Lin Xian, get out here. Lan Yu sneered. The people of the Divine Union were instantly enraged. Lin Xian was the leader of the Divine Union. How dare the other party be so arrogant? They rushed out and shouted coldly, Do you want to die? Do you believe that we can suppress you? Lan Yu stood outside the spiritual abode and sneered. The Divine Union was still so arrogant. Did they not want their friends' lives? Damn it, those people were gritting their teeth. They now knew that the core members of the Divine Union had been suppressed and they were in a crisis. And their opponent was the Dragon Palace. Now that they saw the people from the Dragon Palace, they could not wait to kill them. Lin Xian waved his hand and stopped them. I'm here. He walked out and stared at the other party. You are Lin Xian? Lan Yu was not afraid in the face of Lin Xian's cold gaze. This was the True Path sect. The other party would not dare to do anything to her. Moreover, the other party's friends were in their hands. The other party would have to be obedient. She sneered. Go to the Black Devil Peak tomorrow night. If you are late, I'm afraid you will regret it for the rest of your life. Lin Xian frowned when he heard this. The Crimson Dragon roared. Susu snorted coldly. Aren't you afraid of the sect rules for attacking your own sect members? Lan Yu smiled. Why can't I understand what the sister is saying? Do you have any evidence of who we attacked? Don't think that you can talk nonsense just because you are the daughter of an elder. Chapter 48-73. Susu gritted her teeth in anger. She couldn't wait to tear Lan Yu's face apart. She had never seen such a shameless person. Lan Yu coldly snorted. She looked at Lin Xian and said, Brat, listen carefully. This time, you can only go alone. If you discover anyone else, you'll bear the consequences. Lan Yu smiled proudly. Then she lifted her head proudly and was about to leave. At this moment, Lin Xian said coldly, "Hold on." Lan Yu turned around and frowned. She had a look of disdain on her face. "What else do you want? Do you want me to plead for you? Useless kid." She sneered coldly. Lin Xian didn't say anything, but his eyes were shining. In the next moment, Lan Yu hugged her head and screamed. Her face was pale. "Damn it! How dare you lay your hands on me? You violated the rules of the Dao Palace. Do you believe that I'll get the elders to suppress you?" She screamed crazily. In that instant, her soul had been pierced and the pain was excruciating. Lin Xian smiled. "Do you have any proof that I laid my hands on you? Don't talk nonsense if you don't have any proof." "You." Lan Yu was so angry that she wanted to vomit blood. Wasn't that what she had said to Lin Xian? She hadn't expected to be slapped in the face so quickly. "Damn it! Weren't you the one who injured my soul? This is the proof. Did I lay my hands on you?" Lin Xian looked around and said. The disciples of the Divine Union shook their heads quickly. "No. When did Boss Lin lay his hands on you?" "That's right. We're all watching." Boss Lin only glanced at you. "Why? Can't we see it?" Bai Susu sneered. "How dare you be so arrogant when you can't even withstand a glance?" As she said that, her eyes shone brightly. Immediately, Lan Yu screamed again. Although she was a member of the Dragon Palace, she had entered the Dragon Palace because of Lan Ziyu. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been able to enter given her strength. Bai Susu was a top-notch genius. How could Lan Yu possibly withstand her? Therefore, her soul was severely injured in an instant. She even knelt down instantly. "Just you wait." Lan Yu screamed crazily and turned around to escape. "Brat, don't you need to capture and collect her soul?" They had definitely set up a trap. Lin Xian shook his head. She was so weak. How could she know the details of the plan? She was only a messenger. His guess was right. Lan Yu was only in charge of passing on a message. She didn't know anything. Bai Susu asked, "What about you?" Was he really planning to go alone? "Why don't we just ask my father to do it?" "It's useless. They're well prepared. Moreover, so many of our friends are in their hands. If they split up, it'll be difficult to deal with them. The elders would only be able to save a portion of the people. The rest would most likely be killed immediately. And this time, it was the Dragon Crown Prince who did it. The Dragon Crown Prince must have the support of the elders." In addition, the Dragon Palace had the Dragon Emperor finger. It might even have the old ancestor as a backer. Therefore, it's better for me to go personally. Once he used the power of an elder, he would probably alarm an even more terrifying existence. Lin Xian felt that young people should solve their own problems. "Ruzalong, give me all the killing formations you set up. I'll go by myself. You and Susu stay here to guard the house. During this period of time, don't let the people around you leave." "All right, then you be careful." The Crimson Dragon gritted his teeth. Since the other party had specifically asked Lin Xian to go alone, his friends would be in danger. However, he wouldn't just sit around and wait for death. This matter wasn't only related to the Dragon Palace, but also the Blue Race. Since that was the case, he wouldn't spare the Blue Race. He immediately sent a message to the Black Seas Dragon Race, asking them to mobilize their forces to attack the Blue Race. Those who dared to attack their people would have to pay the price. On the other side, Lin Xian moved. He left with the killing formations and the spirit transfer formation. Black Devil Peak, a sinister and terrifying place. This was an ancient battlefield. A fierce battle had once taken place, and countless experts had fallen. Therefore, the murderous aura here was extremely terrifying. 20,000 years ago, a dungeon had been secretly built here to suppress some terrifying experts. Later on, the dungeon was abandoned, but it still remained. At this moment, flames were lit in the dungeon again. The green flames danced with a strange light. Inside the dungeon, Silhouettes stood one after another like gods and devils. At this moment, roars could be heard from inside. How dare you attack the divine union? We won't let you off. Just the likes of you dare to go against Long Gongquang? I can only say that you are courting death. Just you wait. It won't be just you. Soon we will send that Lin Xian to hell. Damn it. Lu Yuan gritted his teeth. He was injured. Beside him were Nalan Liang and Yu Ren. As for Toad and Fu Hongya, they weren't here. At the same time, they knew that the situation was dangerous. They had fallen into a trap, and these people had captured them to deal with Lin Xian. If Lin Xian really came here, it would be very dangerous. Calculating the time, it's about time. Men, bring them out for me. Bring them to Black Devil Peak. In front of them, a man with a cold figure and the aura of the Dragon Dao was present. He was Wind Dragon. This time he was also in charge. He was followed by countless experts. He wanted to see how Lin Xian would escape this time. Lu Yuan, Nalan Liang, and Yu Rin were chained up and had their strength sealed. Hurry up and leave. One of them kicked Nalan Liang. Nalan Liang's body swayed, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Damn it. Lu Yuan also roared and ended up getting hit. Why? If you don't leave, I'll let you know what it's like to live a life worse than death. What are you staring at? Do you think you can still make a comeback? When Lin Xian comes, we'll finish him off and send you to hell together. They all sneered. Soon, they were brought out of the dungeon and arrived at the top of the Black Devil Peak. Feng Long was sitting on a throne in front of him, and he was swirling the exquisite spirit wine in his hand. He looked at the moon in the sky and sneered. Why hadn't that Lin Xian come yet? A woman beside him sneered. I think he doesn't dare to come. What Lin Wudi? How dare he give himself such an arrogant title? He doesn't have the qualifications to compete with our Dragon Palace. This woman was a proud daughter of the Golden Crow clan. She sneered. Lin Xian was a coward. If he dares to come, I can suppress him with one hand. You want to contend against Boss Lin with just you? Yurin mocked. You can't even compare to a finger of boss. Are you trying to challenge me? Golden Crow Feather's face darkened. Someone, slap him and knock his teeth out one by one. Soon, someone from the Dragon Palace sneered and attacked. With a slap, Yuren's face was smashed, and his teeth flew to the ground. Damn it. Lu Yuan's eyes were red. Come at me if you have the guts. Boom! Golden Crow Feather slap enveloped Lu Yuan, and the terrifying Golden Crow fire began to burn. Lu Yuan's body was charred black, and he screamed miserably. Stop! Nalan Liang roared crazily. Aren't you afraid that the mad god will come and kill you? The other party wasn't afraid of Lin Xian or the Nalan family. They could only use an even more powerful existence, the mad god. Chapter 4874. So what if Mad God is powerful? If he comes, someone will deal with him. Also, Mad God is only ranked 1000 on the Saint Origin list. The founder of the Dragon Palace, the Dragon Prince, is ranked 2nd on the Saint Origin list. Do you think the two of them can be compared? In front of the Dragon Prince, Mad God is just a worm. Ha 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 ha. They laughed crazily. That's right, the founder of the Dragon Palace was the Dragon Prince, the Emperor's son. He was their greatest reliance. As long as the Dragon Prince was around, they would not be afraid of anyone except Kunpingzi. They did not care about Mad God at all. Why hasn't that kid come yet? Another expert of the Dragon Palace frowned. What if that kid is afraid of death and does not dare to come? Feng Long sneered. Fine, I'll kill one of his friends and send his head to the god's abode. If he doesn't come, I'll kill him again. I want to see how long he can endure. Hearing this, the pupils of Lu Yuan and the others constricted. Damn it, these people from the Dragon Palace are too despicable. Well, I think they don't dare to come. Then let's choose one. Who should we kill? His gaze swept past the three of them. "I'll kill you." Jin Wuyu stared at Lu Yuan and waved his hand. The golden crow flames in his hand turned into a saber, and he walked forward. "I'll chop off your head and send it to the god's abode. I'm looking forward to what will happen when Lin Xian sees it. This is the result of following Lin Xian. Don't be the enemy of the Dragon Palace in your next life, because you are not worthy." He raised his saber and was about to swing it down. Damn it! Nalan Liang and the merman beside him roared crazily. However, it was useless. Their bodies were sealed by the laws, and they could not resist at all. Were they really going to die? Lu Yuan roared. "I've never regretted following Uncle Master. It's just that you guys are despicable and use dozens of times more power than us. One day, little Uncle Master will avenge me." Then he looked at Nalan Liang and Yuren. "Brothers, let's meet again in the next life. I'll take my leave first." After saying that, he closed his eyes. "You're courting death." Golden Crow Feather snorted coldly, and the saber in his hand fell. Cracks had already appeared on Lu Yuan's body. If this saber strike landed, he would definitely die. Boom! A deep voice rang out. The sea of flames spread out, and the void shattered. Nalan Liang and the merman were stunned. Was Lu Yuan dead? Although they hadn't known Willow Yuan for long, only a few years, they had carried out many missions together. They were friends who had gone through life and death together. Now that their friend had died in front of them, how could they bear it? No. These people's eyes instantly turned red, but when they looked to the side, they were stunned. This was because they realized that Lu Yuan wasn't dead. Lu Yuan was also stunned. He opened his eyes. "I didn't die." He was stunned when he saw a hand grabbing his saber. Who was it? He looked up and saw a familiar face. "Little Martial Uncle," Lu Yuan exclaimed. "Boss Lin." Yuren and Nalan Liang also roared. On the other side, Golden Crow Feather's pupils shrank. "Lin Xian, you've finally come." Boom! Lin Xian exerted force in his palm and broke the battle blade. A terrifying force spread out in all directions. Many large cracks appeared. Golden Crow Feather retreated. Feng Long stood up. The others also sneered. Their eyes were filled with killing intent. "You're finally here. The show can begin." Lin Xian arrived. His expression was extremely cold, and there was even an extremely terrifying killing intent burning in his eyes. He saw that Lu Yuan and the other two were covered in injuries. It was obvious that they had been tortured. With a wave of his hand, the seal chains on the three of them shattered. Lin Xian struck out with the immortality art, enveloping the three of them and helping them recover. At the same time, he took out pills and natural treasures. He said, "You've suffered. Recover. I won't let go of anyone who attacked you. Little Martial Uncle, be careful. They have a lot of people." "Yes, boss. Let's test them first. They've already set up an inescapable trap for you." "This is a trap." Yuren also roared. They were very worried about Lin Xian. Lin Xian said, "It's fine. No matter how many traps they have, I'll destroy them with my sword. I'm here today to avenge you." "Boss." "Little Martial Uncle." Lu Yuan and the other two's eyes instantly turned red. On the other side, Golden Crow sneered. "So touching. I'm about to cry. But so what? Since you're so close, you can go to hell together." Golden Crow sneered, and the saber in his hand condensed again. Lin Xian was powerful and famous in the ancient city. But so what? This time, they had so many experts. Why would they be afraid of him? Even a great sage of the older generation would have to nurse a grievance if they were here. Lin Xian stared at him and said coldly, "You wanted to kill my friend?" "That's right, I wanted to kill him. I wanted to chop off his head and tear him into pieces. Not only that, did you see that injury on that ant's face was also caused by me? I planned to knock out his teeth one by one. What can you do to me?" Golden Crow sneered, not caring at all. Lin Xian's expression was as cold as water. In the next moment, his figure flashed and disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already in front of the other party. Buzz! The golden hand fell mercilessly. So fast! Golden Crow's pupils constricted. She did not expect the other party to be so fast. She retreated in shock, but soon she was furious. The other party dared to attack her. Go to hell! He slashed over with his saber. Clang! An earth-shaking sound was heard. The Golden Crow slash hit the palm, making a clanging sound. However, it was instantly shattered. The huge golden hand pressed forward with an indomitable will, bringing with it a terrifying power and endless killing intent. Damn it, what a strong physique! Golden Crow was shocked. She formed a fist with her right hand and attacked. Is the Nine-Yang divine fire powerful? Look at my Golden Crow divine fire! She wanted to fight the other party in close combat. Boom! Boom! The two palms collided, making thunderous sounds. Suddenly, a thunderous flame spread in all directions, but it was useless. Golden Crow screamed. Her palm was shattered, and her entire arm was fractured. He was too strong. The Nine-Yang divine body was the legendary starry sky physique. The Nine-Yang divine fire suppressed her Golden Crow fire and almost extinguished it. Damn it! The other party was stronger than her. Golden Crow could not believe it. What made her even more frightened was that the hand mercilessly grabbed her neck and lifted her up. Golden Crow wanted to resist in fear, but an extremely sharp aura came from the hand and the terrifying death law poured into her body. It instantly sealed and shattered the meridians in her body. She felt that she could not use any of her strength. It was too terrifying. In the blink of an eye, Lin Xian suppressed Golden Crow feather. The surrounding Dragon Palace people were still smiling. They did not react. By the time they reacted, they had already seen the scene in front of them. Damn it! Stop! You dare to attack our people. The Dragon Palace people were furious. There were so many of them here. If they allowed the other party to be arrogant, they would lose all face. So what if I attacked your people? Lin Xian snorted. He waved his hand and grabbed Golden Crow Feather's right arm like it was a piece of paper. Golden Crow Feather's arm was instantly torn off. Blood splattered and white bones appeared. Chapter 48:75. Looking at this scene, the surrounding people were stunned. They did not expect Lin Xian to dare to attack. Who was Jin Wuyu? She was the top genius of the Dragon Palace and the pride of the Golden Crow tribe. She was the daughter of the tribe leader. Her status was extremely noble. If you dare to touch her, you're dead. An expert from the Dragon Palace roared. Lin Xian glanced at him and sneered. Then he waved his hand and tore the other arm apart. Jin Wuyu screamed in agony. Blood stained the sky and pierced through everything. Damn it! Do you know who I am? My father is the tribe leader of the Golden Crow tribe. Jin Wuyu screamed crazily. Oh, really? But so what? Lin Xian laughed. With a wave of his hand, he turned Jin Wuyu's legs into a bloody mist. Jin Wuyu screamed in agony, causing the surrounding people to feel numb. Lin Xian was too arrogant. After knowing that the other party was the daughter of the tribe leader of the Golden Crow tribe, he still dared to attack. Was he looking down on the Golden Crow tribe? Finally, someone could not stand it anymore. Feng Long also stood up and said coldly, "Kid, let them go. Otherwise, I'll make sure you die without a burial place." Lin Xian glanced at him and sneered. "Do you have the right to do so?" Feng Long was furious. Did Lin Xian dare to challenge him? Men, capture his companions. I want him to see his friends go to hell with his own eyes. The surrounding people started to move. However, Lin Xian waved his hand and the Great Sage Pagoda covered the three of them. All the attacks landed on the Great Sage Pagoda and shook the sky and earth. However, they could not break through the defense. Damn it. It's a great sage weapon. The surrounding people gritted their teeth. This guy really had many trump cards. He used a great sage weapon right off the bat. Many people's eyes turned red. Feng Long sneered. After I kill you, the great sage weapon will be mine. Kid, let them go. Otherwise, the Golden Crow tribe will let you know the feeling of living a life worse than death. Another tall man walked out. He was also an expert from the Golden Crow tribe. It seemed that not only the people from the Dragon Palace of the Tao sect had attacked, but also the experts from their own sections. It was indeed an inescapable net. Let them go, or all your friends will die. No one who is related to you can live. When Lin Xian heard this, he was completely enraged. He hated it the most when people threatened him. He was even more annoyed when others threatened his friends and family. He couldn't take it anymore, and killing intent appeared in his eyes. You have committed an unforgivable crime. I will let you know the consequences of attacking the people around me. After he finished speaking, he waved his hand and a terrifying force tore the Golden Crow feather into pieces. The Golden Crow feather's soul screamed and tried to escape, but it was pierced by Lin Xian's gaze. The reincarnation steel suppressed him. The Golden Crow feather's soul struggled madly. Lin Xian's voice was ice cold. Don't you like to bully others? Aren't you high and mighty? I'll let you know. What was despair? Samsara spring and autumn. Lin Xian activated his illusion technique and sucked the other party's soul into an illusion. For the next 10,000 years, you will suffer despair. A cold voice sounded. Everyone felt their scalps go numb. The powerhouse from the Golden Crow race was even more furious. You're courting death. He threw a punch over. Lin Xian snorted and pushed his palm horizontally, blocking the other party's palm. However, at this moment, the powerhouse from the Golden Crow race came to the side of the Golden Crow feather soul. Wake up! With a loud shout, his power merged into the soul. However, it was useless. The illusion technique created by the heavenly secret divine eyes was not something that the other party could break. The Golden Crow feather's soul screamed crazily, and one look at it could make one faint. Damn it! Quickly break her illusion technique. The powerhouse from the Golden Crow race roared crazily. Lin Xian shook his head and ignored him. At this moment, the Golden Crow feather's soul dissipated into thin air. The illusion technique created by Lin Xian had a strong time difference. A few seconds outside would be 10,000 years inside. Although there was a time difference, the other party's soul seemed to have suffered 10,000 years of despair and died in the most miserable way. No, the powerhouse from the Golden Crow race went crazy. The Golden Crow feather was dead. She was the daughter of the patriarch. In the Golden Crow race, she was like a little princess. But now, she was killed mercilessly. Was this guy crazy? Did he not leave any way out? The others also felt their hair stand on end. What kind of demon did they offend? Even Feng Long's pupils shrank. The other party's methods were too terrifying. They had to kill him. Otherwise, no one would have an easy time in the future. He stood up and waved his hand. Immediately, the powerhouses charged over. The Golden Crow race's great sage was the first to bear the brunt. He threw out a palm, and a vast power slammed toward Lin Xian. The Golden Crow divine fist could destroy heaven and earth. At the same time, 3 other powerhouses from the Dragon Palace attacked. One of them was a sea serpent that carried the monstrous power of the sea. The other was surrounded by lightning. He was the Thunder King. The last person was surrounded by rocks. The entire land was under his control. The 4 powerhouses attacked together, and the sky fell and the earth cracked. This time, the other party should be dead. The people from the Dragon Palace sneered. Lin Xian's expression was incomparably cold. Kill! He threw out a punch. The 6 Paths divine fist collided with the powerhouse from the Golden Crow race. The Golden Crow Race's great sage's palm was shattered. He retreated, covered in blood. Lin Xian attacked again. The 5 elements, law, gathered and attacked the sea serpent. It turned into an invisible mountain and directly suppressed the sea serpent. The sea serpent's body was broken into 2. He retreated in fear. It was too powerful. It was not over yet. The other 2 had already charged over. The Earth Saint King roared and threw out a punch. This punch could break the sky. Boom! The sky fell and the earth cracked. The punch landed on Lin Xian's body. The Earth Saint King laughed. What, Lin Wudi? Didn't he turn into ashes in my hands too? Your fist is too weak. At this moment a cold voice was heard. The Earth Saint King's pupils shrank. How could it be? He saw a golden figure appear in the shattered space in front of him. His fist landed on the other party's body, but it did not cause any damage. Damn it! What kind of physique was that? Damn it! Earth Divine Fist! He waved his fist and smashed it like a meteor. Lin Xian, on the other hand, lashed out with a kick. With a crack, his opponent's arm was broken. Not only that, he kicked the other party away. The Earth Saint King retreated like a kite. He crashed into hundreds of mountains and fell into the ruins. Half of his body was broken and he could not stand up. Within 3 moves, Lin Xian had injured 3 great holy kings. The 4th person, who looked like the god of thunder, was stunned in midair. Lin Xian looked at the other party and smiled. His eyes shone with golden light. Kneel, he shouted coldly. It was like the roar of a god. The god of thunder's body swayed, and he knelt on the ground in fear. In an instant, he came back to his senses and jumped up. He shouted angrily, "You're courting death." Lin Xian laughed. "What powerhouses of the Dragon Palace? You're just a bunch of ants. Come at me together. None of you can leave here alive today." Chapter 48:76. Damn it, I won't let you off. Lightning God Saber. The Lightning God Sage was completely enraged. He unleashed a peerless saber with terrifying destructive power. Boom! Lin Xian used the 6-path fist and punched forward, shattering the Lightning God Saber. The Lightning God Sage's body was also pierced through by the punch. He fell from the sky, his face pale and his eyes filled with despair. Was the difference that big? He was an expert of the Dragon Palace, but he couldn't even block a punch from Lin Xian. Lin Xian stomped his opponent into a bloody mist. His soul was once again locked onto by the spring and autumn cycle. After 10,000 years of despair, he died. The surrounding people were stunned. They couldn't believe it. The experts they brought were terrifying. The 4 of them attacked together, but they couldn't do anything to Lin Xian. Instead, they were instantly suppressed. What kind of power was this? Let's kill him together. At this moment, another middle-aged man walked out and shouted coldly. Beside him, there were many experts from the blue race. Their bodies emitted terrifying ice, freezing the world. People from the blue race. Lin Xian looked at him and sneered. The middle-aged man gritted his teeth. "That's right, I'm Lan Zilla's father. You dare to kill Zilu? Today, I'll send you to hell to apologize to Zilu. That's right, you don't have to live anymore." Another powerful figure walked out, an expert from the wind dragon race. His huge wings were like dark clouds that could destroy the world. Behind him, there were also experts from the dragon race. There was no need to hold back against him. "Take out whatever techniques you have," the wind dragon said coldly. He felt that the other party was strange and wanted to end the battle quickly. Hearing this, the experts from the wind dragon race nodded. They roared at the sky and condensed their bloodline. It formed a wind dragon spear. It released a terrifying bloodline suppression. On the other side, the middle-aged man from the blue race sneered. He took out an ice mountain and attacked together. The experts of the blue race behind him focused all their energy on the ice mountain. This was a great sage artifact. At this moment, it was filled with endless power and was extremely powerful. With a light wave, the world was frozen. "Let's see how you're going to die this time." The surrounding people all laughed wildly. With a wave of the ice mountain, an earth-shattering power descended. The wind dragon spear was powerful enough to pierce through everything. The two great sage tools rushed towards Lin Xian to kill him. The void around Lin Xian shattered unceasingly. Even the divine fire on his body was suppressed. Humph! In the face of such a powerful attack, Lin Xian coldly snorted. With a wave of his hand, the great destruction spear appeared, releasing a destructive aura. The destructive power rushed towards the wind dragon spear. At the same time, he spun his left hand, and a taiji diagram appeared. Boom, boom, the sound of an intense collision rang out. The people from the Blue Clan and the Wind Dragon Clan sneered. "Useless brat, you can't resist at all." They were very confident in their weapons. With a loud bang, the Wind Dragon Spear was sent flying by the Great Destruction. The experts of the Wind Dragon Clan also vomited blood. Countless cracks appeared on their bodies. Many of them turned into blood mist and died. Damn it, how is this possible? They were terrified. What kind of weapon was this? Was it more terrifying than the weapon formed by their bloodline? On the other side, the people from the Blue Clan also roared in fear. The taiji diagram spun, breaking open the sky and the earth. Terrifying yin and yang qi descended. The ice couldn't resist at all. Many of the Blue Clan's people turned into white bones. "You want to kill me with just these methods? You're too weak. If you don't have any other methods, I'll send you to hell." Lin Xian coldly snorted. With a wave of his hand, 9 killing arrays appeared and covered the entire sky. Lin Xian formed a seal with his palms, and the killing arrays were activated. Terrifying lightning descended from the 9 heavens, turning into lightning dragons that bared their fangs and brandished their claws. The terrifying fire array turned into a fire phoenix that covered the sky. There was also a poison array, frost array, sword array, and saber array. The 9 killing arrays were activated at the same time. It was powerful to the extreme. In an instant, the people from the Dragon Palace let out miserable cries. Many of them were instantly pierced and torn to pieces. The people from the Blue Clan and the Wind Dragon Clan were also heavily injured and vomited blood. Damn it! The Wind Dragon Clan's eyes instantly turned red. He hadn't even made a move, but the other party had already thrown out the killing arrays. "Quick, activate our arrays." They had been setting up here for so long. How could they not have any killing arrays? In an instant, 24 killing arrays were activated, covering the sky and the earth, sweeping through everything. They blocked Lin Xian's 9 killing arrays. Damn it, these 9 killing arrays were so terrifying. The Wind Dragon Clan's face was gloomy. The number of killing arrays they had was twice that of the other party, but they were still tied. It was hard to imagine. "Kill!" He roared, and the people around him rushed over. Lin Xian coldly snorted. With the great destruction in his hand, he attacked aggressively as if he had turned into a demon. With one attack, the bodies of 7 figures were stretched taut, and their souls were destroyed. Then, with another attack, 3 figures were nailed to death in the void. Lin Xian attacked boldly and powerfully. Every time his attack landed, there would be experts who would fall. Damn it, was he the Grim Reaper? How could he be so powerful? The people around him felt their scalps go numb. They didn't dare to go forward. Lin Xian coldly snorted. He definitely wouldn't let these people go. With a stomp of his foot, he rushed forward and charged towards the Blue Clan. "If you want to avenge Lon Zilu, I'm standing right here. Go ahead." The middle-aged man was scared out of his wits. "Damn it, you dare to touch me?" Lin Xian sneered and slapped out, sending the man flying. Half of his face was shattered. "Kill him for me." The middle-aged man roared. The surrounding powerhouses of the Blue Clan roared angrily. World-destroying frost. These people attacked together, unleashing a terrifying ultimate technique. The Blue Clan was a top-tier clan. The world-destroying frost was an ultimate technique created by an old ancestor of the Blue Clan. This old ancestor was extremely terrifying. He had once conquered all the worlds in the universe. With this technique, he sealed an entire world in ice. All of the living beings in that world had been sealed. This technique became famous in the world from then on. At this moment, with all of them attacking together, they could definitely seal the other party in ice. Crack! 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 Ice appeared on Lin Xian's body. Even the 9 suns' divine fire was frozen. Half of his body was sealed in ice, and it was spreading to his entire body. Soon, his entire body became an ice sculpture. The middle-aged man looked up to the sky and laughed. Ha 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 ha! I'm going to avenge Lan Zilu personally. He walked over with the killing sword in his hand. Before the killing sword landed, the ice in front of him changed. The ice sculpture shattered and cracks appeared on it. It spread like a spider web. Then it scattered on the ground. Lin Xian walked out and grabbed the other party's head with one hand. If you want to take revenge, do it in your next life. He waved his hand and twisted the other party's head. Poof! Blood dyed the sky. No, the eyes of the Blue Clan members turned red as they charged forward. Lin Xian waved the yin-yang image and enveloped more than 10 figures. Those people were pierced by the yin-yang sword. Some turned into bones, while others were nailed to death in the void. Chapter 48:77. Lin Xian struck out forcefully and killed all of them. A sea of blood spread, and the surrounding people went crazy. At this moment, a cold light flashed over, and 3 killing swords quickly pierced through. They were 3 experts of the Wind Dragon clan. They merged with the wind and were extremely fast. 3 sharp blades slashed at Lin Xian's vital points. An earth-shattering sound rang out. Lin Xian was forced back, and cracks appeared on his body. The 3 of them were overjoyed. Great, they could take his life while he was injured. However, in the next moment, they quickly retreated in fear. They realized that Lin Xian's cracked body had recovered in an instant. Not only did his aura not weaken, but it also became stronger. Lin Xian launched a thunderous attack, and a great destruction spear enveloped the 3 of them. The 3 of them screamed and turned into a bloody mist. Only 3 broken blades fell from the sky. Next, Lin Xian killed his way into the Wind Dragon clan and attacked crazily. The experts of the Wind Dragon clan fell one after another. The Wind Dragon was finally angry. Kid, you deserve to die. Senior, please help. The Wind Dragon respectfully asked for help from the void. The void broke open, and a few figures walked out. One of them had a cold aura. It was an old man with his hands behind his back. His eyes were like lightning, forming a sea of lightning. Young man, surrender. You're no match for us. An older generation great sage? Inside the great sage tower, Lu Yuan and the others' expressions changed. They didn't care about those people before at all, because they believed in Lin Xian's strength. Those people couldn't threaten Lin Xian. But now that an older generation great sage had appeared, the situation was probably not good. Sure enough, this great sage waved his hand, and the surrounding killing array shattered. Then he pointed at Lin Xian. Lin Xian felt a huge pressure. It surged towards him. The surrounding void shattered continuously, and even his body started to sway. This old man was a little scary. His strength was equivalent to the 5th elder. It wasn't over yet. After him, another old man walked out. His strength was not weaker than this one at all. This old man's body was covered in flames. It was actually a fire crow. The 2 veteran great saints attacked and tore apart the 9 killing formations that Lin Xian had brought. Lin Xian was also knocked back by the scepter and spat out a mouthful of blood. Cracks appeared on his body, but they were quickly repaired by the immortality art. Seeing this, Fenglong burst into laughter. "Kid, do you see this? This is the foundation of our dragon palace. We can summon a lot of great sages at any time. Can you do that? Now, obediently kneel on the ground and kowtow, waiting for me to deal with you. If I'm in a good mood, I can leave your corpse intact. Otherwise, I'll let you know what it means to live a life worse than death." The surrounding people sneered once again. They felt that Lin Xian was dead for sure. "That Taoist Hu," he shouted coldly. "I heard that you have the mad god behind you and that you are very arrogant. Where is he? Tell him to come out and suppress him. Mad god, invincible Lin?" They couldn't withstand a single blow. The other great sage sneered as well. The two of them walked forward like gods and devils. Everywhere they passed, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. "I've said that no one who attacks me today can leave alive. Since you two old farts are willing to attack, I'll fulfill your wish." The two great sages were stunned. Fire Crow, Great Sage, laughed. "Kid, do you think this is the True Path sect? In the True Path sect, we can attack you. But here, if you die, no one will know that we killed you. We can attack without any scruples." "Without any scruples? That's great, because I don't want others to know about my trump cards." Lin Xian sneered. Then he waved his hand and 5 spirit conversion arrays flew out and entered the ground. They began to convert the energy of the entire world. "Oh no, this kid is going to use his trump card." The surrounding people of the Dragon Palace felt the change in the ground and their expressions changed. However, the two great sages sneered. "Don't worry, with the two of us here, he can't hurt you even if he has thousands of tricks." The two of them attacked again and directly enveloped Lin Xian. In an instant, that place was turned into a black hole. Even the starlight of the universe scattered in. Seeing this, the two great sages laughed proudly. Wind Dragon snorted. "I thought Lin Wudi was powerful, but he's just an ant. Let's see who dares to go against the Dragon Palace in the future." Fire Crow, Taoist, frowned. "Is he dead? What a pity. I heard that this kid has the 9-yang divine body. I wanted to capture him and ask for the secret of the 9-yang divine body." Another great sage said, "Don't worry, as long as there's a trace of his soul left, I have the means to ask." He formed a seal with his palms and many soul chains flew out, trying to suppress the broken soul. Boom! However, at this moment, a sword light flashed and broke the soul chains. Not only that, half of the great sage's body was split open and turned into a bloody mist. He screamed and retreated. "Who dares to sneak attack me? He's crazy." Fire Crow Sage's pupils shrank. The others were even more shocked. Could it be that Mad God is here? So what if he's here? Fire Crow Taoist roared. The flames on his body surged into the sky and turned into thousands of crows, sweeping in all directions. Each of them was a peerless divine ability that could destroy everything. "Mad God, get out here. Let me suppress you," he roared. Buzz. No one answered him. The only answer he got was a sword. The peerless sword split open the flames that filled the sky. Fire Crow Taoist's pupils shrank. He felt a fatal danger and quickly retreated. However, one of his arms turned into a bloody mist and couldn't be restored. Puff! Fire Tooth Great Sage dodged the attack, but the surrounding people of the Dragon Palace didn't. Hundreds of figures turned into a bloody mist under the sword. Their bodies and souls were destroyed. "Damn it, who are you?" The two great sages roared crazily. Even Wind Dragon was terrified. "Didn't you want to kill me? You don't even know who I am?" A cold laugh was heard as Lin Xian walked out with the dragon sword in his hand. "How is that possible? It's you?" The two great sages were shocked. Wind Dragon also exclaimed, It's not Mad God, it's Lin Xian. Lin Xian has such power. Is this a joke? Damn it. What's that dragon sword in his hand? Is it in front of me? But why is it so powerful? Could it be a legendary sacred weapon? They didn't know. However, at this moment, the ground beneath their feet shattered. Several spirit veins dried up and shattered. Wind dragons sucked in a breath of cold air. What was going on? Even if they had set up a formation, it was impossible for them to use up the power of the spirit veins so quickly. Fire Crush, Great Sage exclaimed. I know, he entered the formation just now and is crazily absorbing the power. He relied on this power to be able to use his trump card. Destroy the formation quickly, and he won't be able to use that sword again. Chapter 48-78. Kid, we have already discovered your secret. You will definitely die next. Wind Dragon roared. Lin Xian snorted coldly. So what if they found out? A dead man won't reveal my secret. As he said that, he slashed out with his sword again. The ground below shattered. Another spirit vein shattered into pieces, losing all of its energy. Great Sage Huiyan's pupils constricted. How terrifying was that? One had to know that setting up more than 20 top-notch killing arrays didn't consume much energy, but now a single slash consumed a supreme-grade spirit vein. What kind of sword is that? Retreat. He retreated frantically, but he realized that he couldn't escape at all. Damn it, block it. Waving the scepter in his hand, he ignited the laws as if he had turned into a peerless divine beast. He was extremely powerful. Its power increased to the limit, and it was almost close to the mid-stage of the Grand Sage realm. However, it was useless. With a single slash, his body began to crack, and with a bang, he turned into a bloody mist. With a single slash, his heart and soul were destroyed. Is he dead? Wind Dragon's pupils constricted. The other great sage's eyelids twitched. It's too terrifying. Run. However, Lin Xian slashed out again. On the ground below, the spirit vein shattered again. No, you can't kill me. That great sage wanted to say something, but with this slash his body and soul were completely destroyed. Kill. The long sword swept out, and the people around him fell one after another. I hate it. How could he have such a trump card? The people around him roared crazily. Wind Dragon also went crazy and quickly dodged. They had originally set up a trap to kill the other party, but who would have thought that this trap would trap them instead? Now, none of them could escape. Instead, they were mercilessly killed by the other party. Boom! In the end, the surrounding figures fell, and only 3 figures were still standing there. One of them was Wind Dragon, and the other 2 were also top geniuses. Their faces were filled with despair. They were confident that they could kill a mid-stage great sage when they set up this inescapable trap. But now, they couldn't do anything to the other party. Crack! The surrounding mountains kept shattering, the ground cracked, and the supreme-grade spirit vein was torn apart. Lin Xian frowned slightly. On the other side, Feng Long was overjoyed. This was great. All the spirit veins had been destroyed. This brat had no more strength left. They laughed complacently. Brat, without that sword, how are you going to fight us? They felt like they had seen hope. Although most of the people had died, only the 3 of them had survived. But so what? As long as he could kill the other party and obtain the sword, he would be able to kill the other party. All the losses were more than enough to make up for. Lin Xian laughed. It was too early for them to be happy. Even without the great dragon sword spirit, killing all of them would be as easy as flipping his hand. Furthermore, none of you are worthy of me using the great dragon sword. What? Great dragon sword? Was it the legendary great dragon sword? Feng Long's pupils shrank as he cried out in alarm. No wonder it was so powerful. This brat actually had such a treasure. You don't deserve such a treasure. It should belong to the Dragon Prince. The three of them roared crazily. Let's go and inform the Dragon Prince. Let the Dragon Prince kill him. Only an existence like the Crown Prince would be able to use such a supreme divine sword. Besides, the Dragon Prince could kill this kid with just one finger. The three of them wanted to retreat. Lin Xian sneered. You want to leave? Can you leave? With a wave of his hand, endless black vortexes appeared around them, swallowing the sky and earth, blocking their path. Damn it! Fenglong said that he couldn't use the great dragon sword spirit. We can kill him too. If we have the power of the great dragon sword, our future achievements won't be inferior to the Dragon Prince. The eyes of the three of them turned red. Attack! The two of them instantly rushed over, but Fenglong quickly retreated. The corners of his mouth curled up into a cold smile. Six-path fist, light of the demonic god, Taiji diagram. Lin Xian used 3 ultimate techniques in a row to fight against the 2 experts. The 2 of them vomited blood and were sent flying. Their bodies were shattered, and their eyes were filled with despair. Why didn't Fenglong make a move? Lin Xian sneered. How could he not know that he had been used as a knife by others? Damn it, I hate it. They realized that Fenglong had already escaped. The 2 of them had been tricked by him. Trying to escape? Lin Xian snorted. A pair of yin-yang wings appeared on his back. He used the skywalk step, and his speed was extremely fast. Fenglong was still sneering. With the power of his wind and the 2 of them blocking him, he could definitely escape. Sure enough, he broke through the defense line and escaped outside. However, when he turned around, he saw a figure following him closely. Where are you going? Lin Xian snorted. Not good. Fenglong stopped, dumbfounded. How could the other party's speed keep up with him? One had to know that he was extremely confident in his speed. In his opinion, other than the top geniuses of the Light Clan, no one could compete with him in speed. But now, the other party was not inferior to him at all. If you have any last words, leave them. Lin Xian looked at him and said coldly. Fenglong gritted his teeth. Damn it, he didn't make a move. Instead, he knelt on the ground with a plop. Lin Gongzi, please spare me. I had no choice. It's the Dragon Prince. The Dragon Prince said that he wants to kill you. What can I do? I can only follow his orders. He kept kowtowing. Please spare my life. You had no choice? Lin Xian sneered. While kowtowing, Fenglong's eyes were cold. In his opinion, the other party had been deceived by him. He suddenly raised his head. Go to hell. Wind Shadow Thorn. 2 rays of light, formed by the dragon horns, tore through everything like peerless weapons and attacked Lin Xian's heart and head. Lin Xian sneered and dodged instantly. At the same time he kicked out. Fenglong raised his hand to block. With a clang, he was forced back. His arm was numb. The dragon horn transformed into a wind thorn, which was held in his hand. Boy, do you really dare to kill me? Don't you see that only a few of your companions are left? There are a few others in other places. If you kill me, your companions will die without a doubt. If you let me go now, I promise to let bygones be bygones. Our previous grudges can also be resolved. How about it? No. Lin Xian shook his head. I've said it before. If you make a move on my friends, all of you will die. What did you say? Fenglong was angry. Don't you care about the life and death of your friends? Aren't you afraid that we will make a move? Lin Xian smiled. You think too highly of yourself and underestimate me. I want to save my friends. There's no need to go through so much trouble. There's some ways. So you can go to hell in peace. Lin Xian waved the great destruction spear and charged forward. It was like a black dragon breaking through the 9 heavens. Fenglong was completely angry and roared. He waved the wind thorn and fought. After 3 moves, he was forced to retreat. Damn it! How could he be so powerful? He roared at the sky and let out a dragon's roar. As a top genius of the Wind Dragon clan, his bloodline could definitely suppress the other party. Chapter 4879. The Wind Dragon's bloodline erupted, and the sky was filled with dragon shadows. It was truly terrifying. Lin Xian snorted coldly. You want to compare bloodlines with me? What a joke. He used his 10,000 dragon divine blood, and dragon shadows appeared behind him one after another. There was a terrifying Tyrannosaurus Rex, a roaring sword dragon, and a soaring lightning dragon, a fire dragon that destroyed everything in its path. One dragon shadow after another swept across the sky. The wind dragon kept retreating, spitting out large mouthfuls of blood. His face was filled with shock. This was impossible. How could the other party summon so many dragon shadows? Damn it, what kind of bloodline was this? Why hadn't he seen it before? Who exactly were you? He roared crazily. However, Lin Xian sneered. The great destruction in his hand continued to attack. The wind dragon's body was shattered, leaving only his head behind. No, you can't kill me. You still have a few companions in my hands. If you kill me, they won't live. Lin Xian sneered and pierced through the wind dragon's head. He grabbed the wind dragon's soul and used his heavenly secret divine eyes to collect it. Soon he snorted coldly and threw the soul into the heaven-devouring jar. It was constantly destroyed and turned into nothingness. With a wave of his hand, the great sage pagoda was retracted, and Lu Yuan and the other two walked out. When they saw the mountains of corpses and seas of blood around them, they were shocked. Then they sneered. Good job. These people were too despicable. Thank you, boss, for taking revenge for us. They were very emotional. Lin Xian nodded. No one can bully us. Lu Yuan, the three of you clean up the battlefield here. Take away all the storage rings of these people that can be used. Also, seal the heads of Wind Dragon and the others for me. Lin Xian ordered. Lu Yuan nodded. Yuren said, Boss, what about the others in their hands? Lin Xian said, Leave this to me. After saying that, he soared into the sky and flew into the distance. Indeed, Fu Hongye and the toad were still in the hands of the other party. The Wind Dragon was right about that. However, Lin Xian didn't care. He had already found the information from the Wind Dragon's soul. Now that he knew the location, he was preparing to head there. In the canyon, Fu Hongyu and the toad were also chained up and injured. The toad roared, Damn it! Once I get out of here, I'll tear you all to pieces. A man from the Dragon Palace sneered and stepped on the toad. Do you think a toad like you can make a comeback? You're all going to die, and that Lin Xian won't be able to live either. The toad was enraged and roared crazily. Hongya's expression was cold as well. Little Uncle Master would definitely not lose. Ignorant, a senior great sage walked over. With our lineup, even a mid-stage great sage would die without a doubt. Furthermore, we've already scouted Mad God's whereabouts. He won't appear at all, so you're all dead for sure. Damn it! Fu Hongye roared. The people of Dragon Palace laughed. However, at this moment, a figure descended from the sky. Someone was coming. The great sage stopped laughing, and everyone else looked as if they were about to face a great enemy. When they saw the man, they heaved a sigh of relief. So it was young Master Wind Dragon. The great sage smiled. Wind Dragon nodded, looked around, and said, Where is he? Of course, this was not the real Wind Dragon. The real Wind Dragon had been killed by Lin Xian. This was the Wind Dragon that Whitey had transformed into. Whitey had eaten the transformation fruit before and could transform into various forms. That was why Lin Xian was not worried. Here, these two guys are stubborn. I've already taught them a lesson. Feng Long left. When he saw the wounds on Fu Hongye and Toad's bodies, a cold glint appeared in his eyes. Then he said, Let them go. That wasn't good. What if they ran away? Wind Dragon laughed. There were so many people here. How could they run away? Also, gather everyone here. We're leaving. Where is the young master going? These people had no doubts. After all, the dragon Chi on the other party was monstrous and filled with the law of wind. Aren't you asking too many questions? Wind dragon's face darkened. There are some things that only the core members know. Don't you believe me? Of course not. The powerhouses of the Dragon Palace shook their heads. The great sage also waved his hand, let out a long howl, and began to gather. Soon, the people hiding in the dark also walked out one after another. Could it be that these people want to deal with Uncle Master together? Fu Hongya's expression was ugly. The toad roared, "Let me go if you have the guts. I'll slap you to death." He stared at Wind Dragon. Wind Dragon smiled and ignored him. He turned around and stared at the senior great sage. With a wave of his hand, he took out a gourd. Do you know what this is? The senior great sage was stunned. Then he shook his head. Wind Dragon's lips curled into a smile. "Baby, please turn around." As his voice fell, the purple gourd turned around. A sword light soared into the sky and directly slashed the senior great sage. Pooh! The veteran great saint didn't even have time to scream before he perished. Damn it, what's going on? Wind Dragon, are you crazy? You actually attacked your own people. Roars sounded one after another. Wind Dragon laughed out loud. Then his body bloomed with light, and he turned into a little monkey. Yeah, you're all bad people. Damn it, what's going on? Who are you? The powerhouses of the Dragon Palace were dumbfounded. Wasn't that Wind Dragon? Why did he turn into a dead monkey? Oh no, we've been tricked. It's not Wind Dragon. He's the monkey beside Lin Xian. Someone had seen him before and immediately roared. Fu Hongya and the Crimson Dragon's eyes also lit up. Was Little White here? Lin Xian must be here too. In the next moment, a figure flew down from the sky. Do you still want to escape? All of you stay here. Lin Xian waved his hand, and the sky-devouring jar created a terrifying vortex that sealed the surroundings. It's Lin Xian. Kill him. The powerhouses of the Dragon Palace roared crazily. Die. Lin Xian waved his hand, and 3 spirit arrays were cast into the ground. In an instant, all the power of the spirit veins under the ground was converted to the great dragon Sword Soul. The great dragon Sword Soul flew out, and every attack was like a resurrected dragon. With one attack, half of the Dragon Clan powerhouses died instantly. Oh no, he has a peerless treasure. Let's go. The others roared crazily. There was even a veteran great sage who opened the sky with his palms to resist the black vortex. They wanted to escape. How could Lin Xian let them leave? Another 2 swords fell, destroying everything. The surrounding sky collapsed and the earth cracked. The power of the spirit veins instantly dried up and fell apart. The spirit arrays were also shattered. How terrifying! That was the great dragon Sword Soul. Hongya and Hongya were shocked. One had to know how terrifying the power here was, but now they were killed by 3 swords. Not a single one was left alive. Of course, the great dragon Sword Soul required a terrifying amount of power. 3 swords made all the spiritual power in this world disappear. Even a great sage would have dried up long ago. It felt like an emperor weapon. Chapter 4880. Kid, you're finally here. You should have let me kill them. The toad roared. Lin Xian took out a king medicine from the sword world, split it into 2, and gave it to the 2 of them to eat. After the 2 of them ate it, their injuries would heal and recover. The toad's eyes lit up. Damn, kid, where did you get such a treasure? Even Fu Hongya was shocked. Could this be a 10,000-year-old elixir? It was too extravagant. Lin Xian shook his head. He had never been stingy with his own people. He had said that he had killed all those who had tried to attack him today. Lu Yuan and the rest were also saved by me. However, this matter is not over. I will destroy the Dragon Palace. One day. That's right, I will fight them to the death. The toad gritted its teeth and roared. The three of them cleaned up the battlefield and put away the undamaged storage rings. Then they left to meet up with Lu Yuan and the rest. Lin Xian summoned the void beast and opened a space tunnel. The group quietly returned to the divine abode. The divine abode was anxiously waiting. I wonder how Lin Xian is doing? Bai Susu said. The crimson dragon also frowned. Why don't we send someone to take a look? Bai Susu nodded. Anyway, the Dao sect has become extremely lively. They probably don't have time to care. Indeed, the Dao sect's grand meeting would begin in 3 days. Now, many experts from all over the Dao sect had rushed over. The people of the Dragon Palace were also busy preparing, so they really didn't have much energy to pay attention to them. Just as they were about to head over, a space vortex appeared in the divine abode. Then a few figures walked out. Great, they're back. Bai Susu heaved a sigh of relief when he saw this scene. The crimson dragon also hurriedly flew over. How are you? Are you all right? They were all extremely nervous. Lin Xian walked out and said, We're all back safely. The toad roared, This is infuriating. Lu Yuan and the rest also said that they were injured and that their lives were not in danger. However, it was a pity for the other brothers. Indeed, besides them, there were more than 20 geniuses from the Divine Union who had been following them this time. However, they had all died in battle. Bai Susu clenched her fists tightly. She swore that she would definitely get her revenge. The Crimson Dragon said, That's right, we will make them pay with blood. This must be repaid. Everyone still needs to improve their strength. In addition, we must pay attention to not fall into the trap of the Dragon Palace in the future. Everyone nodded. Lin Xian asked, Susu, why are there so many people outside? He realized that there were too many people from the Dao sect. There were even some people from other clans and sections. Bai Susu asked, Didn't I tell you about the Daoist sect's grand meeting? It would open in 3 days. These people were all here to congratulate him. Lin Xian nodded. Get ready. When the time comes, the Divine Union will also make an appearance. The Sanctuary Alliance had never experienced such a grand occasion since its establishment. Hence, they had to show off in this grand occasion. He wanted to let everyone know that the Divine Union would not have any problems even if the Dragon Palace tried to suppress them. Everyone began to make preparations. The entire Dao sect was bustling with activity. Not many people knew about what had happened in the Divine Union. As for the Dragon Palace, the Dragon Prince did not care. In his opinion, the other party would definitely die after taking down so many experts. What he wanted to do was to show off his skills at the grand meeting, catch the eye of some patriarch and enter the core area. That way, he would obtain even more resources from the world. Although he was the Dragon Prince, his halo had always been suppressed by the Dragon Prince. When people mentioned the Dragon Palace or the Dragon Race, the first person they thought of was not him, but the Dragon Prince. Only then would they think of him. As a genius, how could he be willing to accept this? Hence, he had to show off his strength. Lan Xiu did not think so much. She was most concerned about whether Lin Xian was dead or not. However, the Wind Dragon had not sent back any news, which made her extremely nervous. Could something have happened? In the blink of an eye, 2 days had passed. The grand meeting would start tomorrow. Why was he not back yet? The Dragon Prince said, Don't worry, he will be back tomorrow. Lan Xiu was nervous. Finally, the 3rd day had arrived. On this day, multicolored lights danced in the Dao sect. The great Dao descended, creating a celestial scene. At the same time, countless figures appeared one after another. These people had prominent horns and a piercingly cold aura. Everyone's eyes were filled with excitement. The grand meeting of the Dao sect was held once every 10 years. The main purpose was for the patriarch to come and see if there were any top geniuses. If there were, he would choose one or two and accept them as disciples. He would use the core strength of the Tao sect to nurture them. He would strive to nurture the next dragon prince. The Tao sect disciples gathered one after another. Among them, the most dazzling was naturally the Dragon Palace. Look, the people from the Dragon Palace are here. Countless Tao sect disciples looked at the vast number of people in front of them with envy. The one walking at the front was naturally the Dragon Prince. They wondered if the Dragon Prince would appear this time. Yes. Would they be able to see the Emperor's glory? If the Dragon Prince were to appear, he would definitely be sitting with the elders. His status had long surpassed that of the younger disciples. As soon as he said that, everyone nodded. Someone said, "I received news that the Dragon Prince should not appear. He is now challenging the sacred Abyss Tower for power. After all, his goal is to be crowned. He doesn't care about anything else. Although the Dragon Prince is not here, the Dragon Prince is also extremely terrifying. I think that besides Long Huangzi, the Dragon Prince is the most eye-catching person in the Tao sect. He is also someone who hopes to stand at the peak in the future. However, does he want to be crowned? It would be difficult. However, it would not be a problem to become the first person after the Dragon Prince. Everyone was talking about it. Some people said that it couldn't be. There should be another person. Are you talking about that Lin Xian? Yes, he established the Divine Union forcefully back then and went against the Dragon Palace. It was said that he even killed the Dragon Prince's clone. He should also be very powerful. As soon as this was said, someone else nodded. Someone said that it was just that that guy was very mysterious and had not been seen for a long time. After the death match with Yi Qin, he had been in seclusion and had not come out. I wonder how he is now. Has his injury recovered? Hearing this, someone from the Dragon Palace sneered. What Lin Wudi? From now on, there would be no such person. You guys don't have to look forward to it. After saying that, he turned and left. What was going on? The other people from the Tao sect were shocked. From now on, there would be no Lin Xian? Could it be that he had fallen? That was impossible. Yes, that was right. Lan Ziyu also clenched his fists. From now on, Lin Xian was history. There would be no such person in the world. Will not appear. Who do you think you are? Do you think you are a prophet? Can you predict everything? At that moment, a mocking voice was heard. Countless people were shocked. Who dared to challenge the Dragon Palace? The people from the Dragon Palace were also angry. Do you have a death wish? Stand out, and I will send you to hell. Try and touch me. The toad jumped out and shouted coldly. Open your dog eyes and look, your Grandpa Toad is here. Chapter 4881. It's you. The people from Dragon Palace were stunned. Lan Ziyu's pupils constricted. He exclaimed, You're not dead. Toad sneered, Why? Are you surprised that I'm still alive? Could it be that you're secretly attacking me? Do you think I'm dead? Fu Hongya walked out and said, So it was your Dragon Palace who secretly tried to kill us during the mission. Now he finally found his enemy. Countless people were in an uproar. The people from Dragon Palace were also shocked. Lan Ziyu said, Are you kidding? How could we attack you? Don't talk nonsense. Nonsense? Lu Yuan snorted. Then why are you so afraid when you see us? And you say we're not dead. You obviously know something. Do you want to inform the elders of the Law Enforcement Hall to take you away for interrogation? Lan Ziyu was pale with fright. The other people from Dragon Palace were also shocked. They realized that not only were Toad and the others not dead, but the people from before were also alive. More importantly, they saw Lin Xian. Damn it, this guy is also alive. Lin Xian walked out and sneered. Why? Are you surprised? Lan Ziyu was shocked and speechless. What's going on? Did Wind Dragon and the others fail? Why is Lin Xian still alive? and the people who were suppressed before were also rescued. Did their plan fail? The Dragon Prince frowned. What's going on? Where are Wind Dragon and the others? He used the voice transmission token, but there was no response. This gave him a bad premonition. Lan Ziyu was also panicking. He quickly sent a voice transmission to his father, but there was also no response. What's going on? Did something really happen? She didn't dare to imagine. Nothing will happen. The Dragon Prince snorted. It's very likely that they didn't catch this kid and felt that they would be punished when they returned, so they hid outside for a while. Although the mission failed, the Dragon Prince didn't believe that those people would die. They were countless experts. Let's go attend the ceremony first, and then deal with this kid. The Dragon Prince looked coldly at Lin Xian and the others and snorted. He turned and walked forward. There were many people in the square, and there were many pavilions and palaces around them. There was a huge hall in front of them, and it was very terrifying. Dao Palace. This was a very important palace. Only extremely powerful people or people with extraordinary statuses were allowed to enter. The people of Dragon Palace took their seats around the square. The Dragon Crown Prince walked towards the Palace of the Path and quickly entered. The surrounding people were envious. Very few of the younger generation could enter, and the Dragon Crown Prince was one of them. Someone looked at Lin Xian and shook his head slightly. Although this guy claimed to be able to fight against the Dragon Crown Prince, he was still far from it. The Dragon Crown Prince could enter the Palace of Dao, but the other party had no chance at all. Those from Dragon Palace also sneered. Boy, you want to fight with us? The difference was too great. Let's go to the Dao Palace first. In my opinion, he can forget about entering in this lifetime because he is not qualified at all. Cold laughter rang out one after another. Bai Susu and the others had gloomy expressions on their faces. It was simply too difficult to enter the Dao Palace. Lin Xian, on the other hand, was incomparably calm. When he heard the mockery, he laughed coldly. So what if it was the Dao Palace? My goal isn't here. My goal is to reach the peak of the sacred Abyss Tower. When they heard this, the surrounding people were stunned. The people from Dragon Palace also laughed heartily. You want to reach the peak of the sacred Abyss Tower? Who do you think you are? Are you a prince? You are overestimating yourself. The surrounding people also shook their heads and sighed. Lin Xian was a little overconfident. One had to know that the only person who had reached the peak was Kuan Pengzi. Even the Dragon Prince was a little lacking. However, given enough time, he would definitely reach it. Besides these two princes, it was impossible for anyone else to reach the peak. Lin Xian snorted coldly, unmoved. How could these people understand his path? Next, Lin Xian led the people from the Divine Union to a hall on the side of the plaza and sat down. More and more people arrived at the plaza. There were even some people who weren't from the Path sect, but from other clans and sects who came to congratulate him. Among them, there was an endless stream of people who came to congratulate the Dragon Crown Prince and the Dragon Palace. The people from the Dragon Palace were very pleased. Did you see that? There are many forces in the Path sect, but they are the only overlords. Kid, did you see that? This is the power of the Dragon Palace. We have countless sects and clans. How are you going to fight us? In the hall beside them, the people from the Dragon Palace sneered. Lin Xian replied faintly that he had seen it. However, that was all. In the face of absolute power, everything else was futile. Only one's own strength was true strength. Lin Xian understood this very well. He had been able to destroy so many experts from the Dragon Palace alone because of his own strength. Furthermore, it was said that the Emperor Lord back then could destroy millions of worlds with a single palm. How majestic was that? So what if one had a strong background? They couldn't even compare to a single finger of the Emperor Lord. If Lin Xian could become the Emperor Lord and rule the world, why would he have to worry about not having enough clans to bow to him? What an arrogant brat! The people from the Dragon Palace gritted their teeth. There were a lot of people around, but the old ancestors from the Path sect hadn't arrived yet. They would probably arrive at the last moment. At this moment, some people from the big clans arrived. The clan leader of the Blue clan had arrived. With a loud shout, countless people were surprised and turned their heads to look. The Blue clan was one of the top clans and was very famous. The clan leader of the Blue clan had arrived personally. The clan leader strode over with a group of people. He looked like an old man. The icy aura on his body was abnormally terrifying. It formed an icy battle robe, and he looked extraordinarily mighty. "Greetings, Senior." Along the way, the surrounding people bowed to him. Lan Xiu also stood up and greeted the clan leader. Xiu, the clan leader of the Blue clan, nodded with a smile. "How have you been? Has your strength improved?" "Thank you for your concern, clan leader. I am stronger than before." Lan Xiu smiled. At the side, Bing Ling furrowed her brows. The previous clan leader wouldn't have such a good attitude towards Lan Xiu. One should know that she was the #1 genius of the clan. But now her limelight was completely suppressed by Lan Xiu in the clan. How many days had it been? She couldn't believe it. Later, she found out that Lan Xiu's status changed because he became the Dao companion of the Dragon Prince. This made Bing Ling very disdainful. The clan leader of the Blue clan didn't think so. The Dragon Prince was the top figure in the Dragon Palace, second only to the Dragon Prince and the son of the Dragon Sea Lord. Such a person's status was too high, far higher than Lan Xiu's. Even Bing Ling couldn't compare to him. To be able to form an alliance with such a person was a great honor for the Blue clan. So he was naturally happy. "Xiu, come, accompany me to see the Dragon Prince." Chapter 4882. Lan Xiu nodded and walked towards the Dao Palace with the clan leader of the Blue tribe. Inside the Dao Palace, there were a few distinguished people. The youngest among them was the Dragon Prince. When the clan leader of the Blue tribe arrived, he smiled at the others and said, "Greetings, my friends." The other elites nodded in agreement. The clan leader of the Blue tribe came to the side of the Dragon Prince and said, "Greetings, Dragon Prince." Long Ao smiled. "Senior Lan is too polite. You are a senior. Isn't it too much for you to bow to me like this?" The clan leader of the Blue tribe said, "Others might not, but the Dragon Prince deserved it." "Clan leader Lan, please take a seat." The Dragon Prince invited the clan leader of the Blue tribe in, and the two of them sat down to chat. When the people of the Dragon Palace saw this, they were delighted. They looked at Lin Xian and sneered. "Did you see that? The clan leader of the Blue tribe is very respectful to our prince. Can you do it?" The Wind Dragon tribe had arrived. Another shout was heard. The clan leader of the Wind Dragon tribe had arrived with his elites. Then he went in to greet the Dragon Prince. "Uncle Long, are you still so polite to me?" Long Ao smiled. "Please." Both of them were from the Dragon tribe and naturally had a close relationship. The Sky Blade Mansion Master had arrived. The clan leader of the Golden Armor tribe. Powerful figures arrived one after another. They were all invited into the Dao Palace. Then they congratulated the Dragon Prince. In an instant, Long Ao was surrounded by many powerful figures. These were the clan leaders, sect leaders, and alliance leaders. Many of them were from the remote antiquity families. Even the weakest of them was a top family. In an instant, Long Ao was in the limelight. He even overshadowed the older generation figures and became the focus of everyone's attention. The people of the Dragon Palace were naturally pleased. Even the Dragon Prince was so powerful, let alone the Dragon Prince. There was no need for the Dragon Prince to take action. The Dragon Prince alone could sweep everything away. The Divine Union? Ridiculous. Many people were disdainful of the Divine Union. The others were also discussing. It seemed like the Dragon Palace was indeed terrifying. Not everyone could challenge them. The difference between the Divine Union and the Dragon Palace was like heaven and earth. The difference was too great. The people of the Divine Union gasped. Although they were not convinced the other party had made such a big scene. Susu gritted her teeth. Damn it. She didn't expect the other party to do something like this. Are they trying to attack us? If we had known earlier, we would have asked some of the family heads to come as well. Susu could also recruit a group of people. Even the talented members of the Divine Union had families behind them. However, compared to the other party, he seemed a little weak. After all, the Blue Clan and the Wind Dragon Clan were all top clans. There were even clans of the ancients. Lin Xian said with a smile, "No matter, the best part was yet to come." How could he not be prepared? He had already sent invitations to his previous allies. He thought that those people would respond very soon. At this moment, Lan Ziyu had also returned to the palace. He looked at Lin Xian and the others and sneered. It was true that one was powerful, but sometimes one's foundation and background were enough to overwhelm everything else. There was a cold light in her eyes. Crimson Dragon and the others gritted their teeth. Just as they were about to retort, another voice sounded. The Nalan family has arrived. Here it comes. The people of the Divine Union heaved a sigh of relief. Nalan Niang also smiled. The current family head was his grandfather, so he naturally had to come. As expected, Nalan led his family over to Lin Xian's side. Congratulations to Lin Gongzi. Although the Nalan family wasn't an ancient clan, it was still a top clan and was very young. With strength, they might be able to go further in the future. Now that the Nalan family head had come to congratulate Lin Xian, many people were shocked. The faces of the people of the Dragon Palace darkened. Did the Nalan family have a death wish? It seemed like they had to take some measures to suppress this family and let them know who was in charge here. Lan Ziyu snorted. The Nalan family was nothing to be afraid of. Furthermore, this was because of Nalan Liang. Otherwise, why would the Nalan family stand on Lin Xian's side? The Dugu family has arrived. Another loud voice was heard. The people of the Dugu family strode over. This group of people had iron swords on their backs. Their aura was surging, and when they appeared together, they exuded an austere aura. Countless people looked up, and many people stood up to greet him. Old Master Dugu strode over with Dugu Xiao Yi and the rest. Greetings, everyone. Old Master Dugu kept waving his hands. He walked over to the side of the hall. When they saw this, everyone was stunned. Who was Old Master Dugu going to meet? The people of the Dragon Palace were also surprised. Lan Ziyu smiled. He must be here to meet us. Although we don't have much contact with the Dugu family, we have the Dragon Prince and the Dragon Crown Prince. They will come over obediently. When he said this, the people of the Dragon Palace nodded. Fairy Jiyu, please receive them. Lan Ziyu stood up. Her status was no longer ordinary. She was the cultivation partner of the Dragon Crown Prince. Her status in the Dragon Palace was very high. Therefore, she stood up and walked forward with a beautiful smile. So it was Old Master Dugu. Old Master Dugu, please. When the surrounding people saw this, they were in an uproar. Even the Dugu family was on the side of the Dragon Palace. It seemed that the Dragon Palace was more terrifying than before. However, soon the surrounding people were stunned. Lan Ziyu was also stunned. The smile on her face froze and became very ugly. The people of the Dragon Palace were even more stunned. They couldn't believe it. Old Master Dugu ignored Lan Ziyu and went directly to the side of the hall. Greetings to Lin Gongzi. This old man is here to congratulate Lin Gongzi. The Dugu family is here to meet Lin Xian. What's going on? A series of exclamations sounded. The people of the Dragon Palace were stunned. What a joke! When did Lin Xian become so powerful? When did he get together with the Dugu family? Lan Ziyu's face was even uglier. She turned her head with a trace of coldness in her eyes. She saw that Old Master Dugu was very respectful to Lin Xian. It didn't seem like he was pretending at all. Old Master Dugu is too polite. Lin Xian nodded with a smile. This made people even more shocked. The Dugu family was also a top family. Old Master Dugu was the patriarch. When you saw him, you had to quickly stand up and be respectful. But now Lin Xian just nodded. What kind of attitude was this? Even the Dragon Prince didn't dare to do this. This was the attitude that the Dragon Prince should have. But now it appeared on Lin Xian. This guy is courting death. I'm afraid I'll lose an ally. The people of the Dragon Palace sneered. Lan Ziyu also snorted. However, he didn't appear. Old Master Dugu didn't have any dissatisfaction at all. Instead, he said to the people next to him, "Why don't you greet Lin Gongzi?" The experts of the Dugu family cupped their fists and greeted Lin Gongzi. Chapter 48-83. The people of the Divine Union were stunned. Bai Susu was even more surprised. Lin Xian actually had such a connection with the Dugu family? It was unbelievable. The others were in an uproar. It seemed like Lin Xian was prepared. No wonder he dared to compete with the Dragon Palace. Some people also said that the Nalan family and the Dugu family were not bad, but they were still weak compared to the Dragon Palace. Indeed, how many experts were there beside the Dragon Prince in the Dao Palace? Lin Xian only had 2, so there was nothing to be afraid of. The people of the Dragon Palace regained their composure and sneered. I want to see how much trouble you can cause. Xiaoyi, hurry up and give Lin Gongzi a gift. Old Master Dugu said to Dugu Xiaoyi. Dugu Xiaoyi nodded and walked out to greet Lin Gongzi. With a smile, she flipped her hand and took out a treasure box. There were 3 leaves in it. What was that? The surrounding people were stunned. Lan Ziyu and the people of the Dragon Palace sneered. This was a trap. They were all watching a good show. The people of the Divine Union were also puzzled. Lin Xian's pupils shrank. He took a deep breath and waved his hand, taking the 3 leaves. This was to thank Old Master Dugu. Lin Xian was overjoyed. The 3 leaves contained a terrifying sword aura. Old Master Dugu said, "It's good that you like it. These are the 3 sword leaves left behind by the Dugu family's top swordsman, the Dugu sword demon 30,000 years ago. It contains supreme sword principles and is now a gift to you." What? Something left behind by the Dugu sword demon? The surrounding people were stunned when they heard this. Then they all gasped. The Dugu sword demon was incredible. Back then, he had led the Dugu family to the peak. Back then, the Dugu family had not been afraid of the remote Antiquity family. They were even extremely strong. Apart from the remote Antiquity family who had emperor weapons, no one was a match for the Dugu family. In that era, the Dugu sword demon had swept through everything with his iron sword. How could the things he left behind be weak? In an instant, countless people exclaimed. The eyes of those from Dragon Palace turned red. Damn it, what was going on? The Dugu clan had actually taken out such a good item. At the side, Nalinda also smiled. Look, I forgot that I also prepared something for young master. I hope that young master can accept this world core. The reason why the 8th elder, Nalinda, was able to become the patriarch was all because of Lin Xian. That was why he gave him a world as soon as he made a move. The surrounding people exclaimed in surprise again. The people of Dragon Palace were mad. Damn it, how could this kid have such good luck? On the other hand, the people from the Divine Union were extremely excited. This was great. Did you see that? They weren't without a foundation. The Divine Union was extremely happy. Following which, more and more powerhouses arrived. At that moment, a voice was heard and resounded throughout the area. The Fire Dragon race had arrived. It was the Fire Dragon race. Many people cried out in surprise. This was also a member of the dragon race. His strength was extremely terrifying. Inside the Dao Palace, the Dragon Prince's lips curled into a smile. Although the matter between the Nalan family and the Duga family had caused him to frown, it was still not enough. But so what? The two families stood on the side of the divine union and still couldn't compete with the Dragon Palace. Clearly, the Fire Dragon clan had also come to congratulate him. He sat there with a confident smile on his face. This time, the Fire Dragon Princess was leading the Fire Dragon tribe. Behind her were many powerhouses. She didn't go to the Dao Palace. Instead, she walked directly to the side of the plaza. The Fire Dragon race's patriarch was in seclusion. It seemed like he had sent his daughter. Many people were discussing this. In that case, it was understandable that the other party didn't go directly to the Dao Palace. After all, he was just a young man. However, everyone guessed that the other party was definitely on the side of the Dragon Palace. Everything else aside, they were all from the Dragon race. This made everyone know that the other party was definitely on the Dragon Prince's side. The people from the Dragon Palace were excited once again. Lan Ziyu stood up and said, "Sister Dragon Princess, you're here." The Fire Dragon Princess glanced at him. Was this the Dragon Prince's cultivation partner? He didn't seem like much. She thought to herself. However, she remained expressionless and nodded slightly as a greeting. This stunned Lan Ziyu. What was the meaning of this? Was she being ignored? Or was he looking down on her? The people from the Dragon Palace also frowned. At this moment, another figure stood up. This man was wearing dark armor and had an extraordinary aura. His name was Nangu, and he was a top prodigy of the Black Dragon race. If Lan Ziyu didn't have enough face, then it shouldn't be a problem for him to come out. His status was not inferior to that of the Wind Dragon race. In fact, he was even stronger. "Long time no see, Dragon Princess." Nangu greeted her. He was also acquainted with the other party. However, the Fire Dragon Princess only nodded. She had no intention of coming in. Instead, she walked to the palace next to her. She had met Lin Gongzi. The surrounding people were stunned. She was here for Lin Xian? How was that possible? She was from the Fire Dragon race. Shouldn't she be on the Dragon Palace's side? The people from the Dragon Palace were stunned. Nangu's expression was also ugly as he stood there in a daze. In the Dao Palace, the Dragon Prince's expression darkened. The wine cup in his hand also turned into powder with a crack. How dare the Dragon race not come over? She had gone to meet Lin Xian. This made him very angry. Was this a slap to his face? The Fire Dragon race was truly courting death. However, the Fire Dragon Princess didn't care about the gazes of others. She went to Lin Xian's side and started to congratulate him. She waved her hand and took out a jade bottle. These were 2 bottles of Fire Dragon Divine Liquid. "I hope you don't mind." The surrounding people were stunned. This was the treasure of the Fire Dragon race. Normally, it wouldn't be passed on. However, she had given it to Lin Xian. She had even given him 2 bottles. The Dragon Princess was too courteous. "Please take a seat." Lin Xian gestured. Bai Susu received it with a smile and invited the Dragon Princess and the others to take a seat. The people from the Divine Union were still in disbelief. They had not expected the Fire Dragon race to be on their side. Then they laughed. Toad even jumped out and walked to the Dragon Palace's side. "Hey, does your face hurt?" The Crimson Dragon snorted. "I think some people are too arrogant. Do they really think they can cover the sky with one hand? Despicable." Nangu gritted his teeth. The people from the Dragon Palace were so angry that they wanted to vomit blood. Inside the Dao Palace, the clan leader of the Blue Clan and the clan leader of the Wind Clan frowned. Lin Xian was so powerful. What did he do to the Fire Dragon clan? Whatever it was, I will make the Fire Dragon race pay the price. The Dragon Prince's expression was cold. His words carried a trace of killing intent. The eyes of the Blue Race and Wind Race leaders flickered. It seemed like someone was going to be unlucky. No matter how strong Lin Xian was, could he really go against the Dragon Palace? They shook their heads and sneered. The Fire Dragon race didn't know what was good for them. They were doomed. Chapter 4884. Long Ao's side was furious. The people of Dragon Palace were gnashing their teeth. They were slapped in the face. Everyone was talking about it. It seemed that Lin Xian had really gathered a group of allies to fight against the Dragon Palace. However, it seemed that it was still not enough. Even with the addition of the Fire Dragon tribe, it didn't seem to be enough. Their only purpose was to slap Dragon Palace in the face and make them proud. But in the future, it would be very dangerous. At that moment, a loud voice came from afar. The Yi clan of the remote antiquity had arrived. The crowd was in an uproar when they heard this. The Yi clan was not an ordinary clan of the ancients. It was a monarch clan, and it possessed an extreme weapon. Its foundation was definitely top-notch. This was a true overlord. Was the Yi clan here as well? Many people were shocked. Some people gasped. That's not right. Yi Wudao, the genius of the Yi family, was cultivating in the Heaven sect. Why would he come to the Dao sect? No one could understand. Perhaps it was because Yi Wudao was in the Celestial sect, but Yi Wudao was too strong. You should know that the Heaven sect also has an imperial prince, Kunpengzi. His family is also an imperial prince, the Kunpeng clan. His background was no weaker than Yi Wudao's, but his innate talent was far superior to Leaf Dao Denier's. Yi Wudao had the sacred body of the ancients, while the Kunpengzi was a true imperial prince. The gap between the two was still huge. With the Kunpeng master present, Leaf Dao Denier would only be second. I'm guessing that the Yi clan is here to join forces with the Dragon Prince. The two monarch clans belong to different orthodoxies. They work together to suppress Kunpengzi. That would be beneficial to both the Dragon Prince and Leaf Dao Denier. As soon as he said this, the others nodded in agreement. That was indeed the case. After thinking about it, they felt that this was the only reasonable explanation. The Dragon Prince is currently doing his best to challenge the Holy Gulf Tower and isn't around. Should I inform him? The patriarch of the Wind Dragon clan asked. However, the Dragon Crown Prince said, the Dragon Prince doesn't allow anyone to disturb him. Let's go. As the second in the Dragon Palace, the Dragon Crown Prince had unlimited confidence that he could definitely represent the Dragon Palace. Good, we will follow. The Blue Clan's patriarch stood up, and so did the Wind Dragon Clan's patriarch. Behind them was the Heavenly Saber Mansion's mansion lord. They all followed the Dragon Crown Prince outside. A group of people appeared in the square. The people from the Yi clan had arrived, and the one leading them was the great elder of the Yi clan. Next to him was the young Yi Wudao, and behind him were a few experts from the Yi clan. Wherever they passed, the people around them greeted them. Greetings, Senior Yi. Young noble Wudao was becoming more and more powerful. In response to such greetings, Leaf Dao Denier and the Grand Elder simply nodded. After all, these people couldn't even be mentioned in the same breath as them. The others didn't dare to get angry because the two sides weren't on the same level to begin with. Even on the buried Emperor Star, the Yi family is one of the top families. The other remote antiquity families paled in comparison. Greetings, fellow Taoists of the Yi family. At this moment, a group of people walked towards them. The one leading them was the Dragon Crown Prince. The Wind Clan's clan head, the Blue Clan's clan head, and the Heavenly Sabermanner's clan head cupped their fists and greeted Xiao Qin. The members of the Yi family stopped, and the Great Elder nodded slightly. The Dragon Crown Prince smiled and walked over to greet the Yi family senior. This must be Brother Wudao, right? You're even more extraordinary than the rumors. The Dragon Crown Prince is too courteous. Leaf Dao Denier smiled. Long Ao said that the Dragon Prince was in seclusion to break through the Holy Gulf Tower, so he couldn't leave. Therefore, I represent the Dragon Prince and the Dragon Palace to welcome the senior of the Yi family. I hope, Elder, you won't take offense. Please. He made a gesture of invitation. The surrounding people exclaimed. Heavens, is the Dragon Palace going to join forces with the Yi family? It's too inconceivable. This way, the Dragon Palace would be even more terrifying. Who would be a match for the Dragon Palace? Previously, the Dragon Palace had a terrifying background. Not only did they have the support of the elders, but more importantly, the Dragon Prince had the backing of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. That was an emperor clan. Now, with the addition of the Yi family, it would be 2 emperor clans. Even the Kunlun sect would have to back down. The members of the Dragon Palace stood up excitedly. Lan Ziyu Nangu and the others laughed. They stared at Lin Xian with cold radiance in their eyes. Kid, the Dragon Palace is getting stronger. Let's see how you'll die. The others also shook their heads and sighed. This time, Lin Xian was really unlucky. He had kicked an iron plate. Yes, he still wanted to contend with the Dragon Palace. This time, it was completely impossible. The expressions of the Divine Union members changed drastically. They felt a huge pressure. Beside them, the Duga family, Nalan family, and Fire Dragon family also looked solemn. Nalinda, an old man Dugo, did not regret it. Nalinda's position was given to him by Lin Xian. Old man Duga's life was saved by Lin Xian. The 2 of them stood firmly by Lin Xian's side. On the other hand, the Fire Dragon tribe's side turned black. They did not agree to it previously. However, the Fire Dragon lady was stubborn and they could not stand by Lin Xian's side. Now, it seemed that they had completely offended the Dragon Palace. The Fire Dragon tribe would be in danger if the Dragon Palace punished them in the future. Toad, Crimson Dragon, Fu Hongya, and the others had strange expressions. Soon they sneered. The Dragon Palace and the Yi family joining forces? What a joke. Let's see who kicked an iron plate. They knew the relationship between Yi Wudao and Lin Xian. At the thought of this, the Crimson Dragon and the others sneered. Ahead, the Yi family's grand elder also smiled. The Dragon Prince was too polite. Everyone knew that the Dragon Prince was in seclusion to be crowned king. And this time, we're not here to look for the Dragon Prince. We're not here to look for the Dragon Prince. The surrounding people were stunned. Even the Dragon Prince was stunned. Who was it? Could it be that they were looking for him? Did they like him? Because he was the same as Yi Wudao. They both had the ancient body and a powerful background. However, he was not the first person. Did Yi Wudao want to join forces with him? In that case, it was not impossible. He was extremely excited. However, Yi Wudao did smile. He said, "We're here to congratulate Brother Lin." Brother Lin? Hearing this, the Dragon Prince was stunned. The smile on his face froze. The Blue Clan's patriarch, Wind Dragon Clan's patriarch, and the others were also stunned. The others were in an uproar as they discussed madly. Who was Brother Lin? Who could be so important to the Yi family? Was there anyone with the surname Lin among the top experts of the Path sect? There was one called Lin Jiutian. It couldn't be him. Countless voices sounded. There was someone called Lin Jiutian on the Xian ranking. He was also very strong. However, was it worth the Yi family to mobilize so many people? Could it be that Lin Jiutian had a relationship with the Yi family that they did not know? Thinking of this, everyone was even more curious. The Dragon Crown Prince's face darkened. He wasn't here for him or the Dragon Prince. Damn it, that Lin Jiutian was so lucky. Yi Wudao shook his head again and smiled. We're not here for Lin Jiutian. The brother Lin I'm talking about is Lin Xian. Chapter 4885. Lin Xian. Hearing this name, the surrounding people were stunned. The smile on the Dragon Prince's face disappeared instantly. His eyes widened in disbelief. Lin Xian? Which Lin Xian? He asked quickly. The leaders of the Blue Tribe and the Wind Dragon Tribe were stunned as well. Could it be the Lin Xian they knew? What kind of joke was this? How could that kid be related to the Emperor clan? The others were also discussing. Was it the Lin Xian from the Divine Union? That was impossible. Where did he get that kind of face? Yi Wudao smiled but didn't say anything. He simply walked to the side of the hall and stopped in front of it. Yi Wudao smiled. Brother Lin, we meet again. Wudao, you're too polite. You didn't even greet me when you came. Lin Xian stood up and walked forward with a smile. The two of them were talking and laughing. It was obvious that they were old friends. Everyone was dumbfounded. The Yi family grand elder walked over. Lin Xian didn't dare to be careless. He cupped his fists and smiled. Greetings, seniors of the Yi family. The Yi family grand elder's eyes shone brightly. Lin Gongzi was indeed extraordinary. Your physique seems to have become stronger than before. Lin Xian had the 9-yang divine body, so the Yi family naturally paid attention to him. In their opinion, Lin Xian's cultivation should be weaker than Yi Wudao's. Although the 9-yang divine body was extraordinary, Lin Xian didn't have the support of the Emperor clan. Yi Wudao was different. Yi Wudao had a saint body and the full support of the Yi family. His cultivation speed was terrifying. However, it seemed that this wasn't the case. Not only was Lin Xian not lagging behind, but he was also on par with Yi Wudao. The two of them stood there like two young gods of war. This shocked the Yi family grand elder. Lin Xian was definitely not simple. He probably had more trump cards than they thought. It was Leaf Dao who had requested to meet with Lin Xian. After much discussion, the Leaf clan agreed. The elders of the Yi clan were very pleased to have an ally like Lin Xian on their side, which would be very beneficial for Leaf Dao. After all, although their Yi family was an imperial clan, they were not the only imperial clan. On the buried Emperor Star, there were quite a few emperor clans. Some of them could even threaten Yi Wudao. Therefore, the Yi family also needed allies. Senior, you flatter me, Lin Xian said with a smile. After chatting with the seniors of the Yi clan for a while, they nodded in agreement. Wudao, you stay here. Let's go to the palace of Dao. Given the status of the great elder of the Yi family and the others, it was likely that the Dao sect elders would not be willing to stay with Lin Xian. Thus, in order to avoid unnecessary trouble, the Yi clan's elders and the others went to the Dao palace. As for Leaf Dao, he remained with Lin Xian. Leaf Dao had the Yi family's holy body, and his previous actions had made it clear to everyone that the Yi family was on Lin Xian's side. The surrounding people went crazy. The people from the Dragon Palace did not dare to believe it. Their expressions became incomparably ugly. If it was said that they did not place the Nailin and Duga clans in their eyes before, the current Yi family was different. This was an imperial clan. An imperial clan was comparable to a group of clans on their side. Lin Xian actually had the qualifications to contend with the Dragon Palace. Damn it! They clenched their teeth so hard that they broke. Lan Ziu's face was pale. The wine cup in his hand fell to the ground and shattered. How was this possible? She had gone crazy. Every time she was pleased with herself, she thought that she could trample the other party under her feet and make him unable to rise again. But every time her foot would miss, and the other party would leap up high and slap her directly. In the previous battle, the other party had shocked everyone with a single feat and displayed great strength. She could only look up to him. Now, in terms of background, she thought that with the Dragon Crown Prince, she could look down on the other party. However, the other party actually knew an imperial clan. Now, was she going to look up to him again? She did not want to feel this way again. The Dragon Crown Prince's face was extremely ugly. He had come full of confidence, but in the end he had been ignored. Damn it! He wanted nothing more than to escape. His face darkened as he turned around and strode towards the Dao Palace. The Wind Dragon Tribe Elder, the Blue Tribe Leader, and the Sky Saber Mansion Master also lowered their heads. The people of the Path Sect were in an uproar. This Lin Xian was not simple. Now it seemed that he indeed had the qualifications to contend with the Dragon Palace. The people of the Divine Union were in high spirits. They were extremely excited every time. That was an imperial clan. This was great. Who would dare to look down on them? The Toad and the Crimson Dragon even came out and mocked the people of the Dragon Palace beside them. A few people of the Dragon Palace had already vomited blood and fainted from anger. Nalinda and Old Master Dugu were also shocked. Lin Gongzi was indeed unfathomable. The elders of the Fire Dragon tribe were also shocked. Previously, they had been somewhat dissatisfied with the actions of the Fire Dragon Princess. After all, this might offend the Dragon Palace and even the Dragon Prince. However, they were now relieved. With the Yi family around, the foundation of the Divine Union had also become stronger. Previously, no one had been optimistic about Lin Xian and the Divine Union. They had thought that the other party was courting death. However, the situation had completely changed now. Everyone was talking about Lin Xian's miraculous abilities. It seemed that they had forgotten about the Dragon Palace. In this atmosphere, half a day passed. The people of the Dragon Palace could not wait to escape. The Dragon Prince closed his eyes and did not say a word. The atmosphere was extremely strange. At this moment, a loud and clear voice rang out from outside. Thunder boomed 9 times and turned into a thunder dragon. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty had arrived. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty had arrived. Countless people exclaimed. This was also an imperial clan. Furthermore, it was the Dragon tribe. Countless people were shocked. They had not expected to see 2 imperial clans today. In the Dao Palace, the Dragon Prince opened his eyes, emitting a piercing light. They had waited. Previously, they had been suppressed. He had been waiting. Only the elites of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty would be able to contend with the Yi family. Now they had finally arrived. He strode out in large strides. The Wind Dragon tribe leader also took a deep breath and hurriedly followed. The Blue tribe leader, the Sky Saber Mansion Master, and the others moved out once again. Greetings, seniors. The Dragon Prince was unusually excited. The people of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty were powerful, and their bloodlines were terrifying. Their appearance caused the faces of the surrounding people to turn pale. It seemed like their bloodlines were about to freeze. The Dragon Prince had not come out of seclusion yet? The leading man asked coldly. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty only had the Dragon Prince in their eyes. Although Long Ao was the Dragon Sea Prince, they still did not take him seriously. Long Ao did not dare to be careless. He even looked extremely respectful. Reporting to Third Uncle Long, the Dragon Prince is still in seclusion in the sacred Origin Tower. Seniors, please. The Dragon Prince carefully invited the group of people from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty into the Dao Palace. The people of the Dragon Palace heaved a sigh of relief and gritted their teeth. So what if the Divine Union had the Yi family? The Dragon Palace had the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. The Dragon Prince belonged to the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. Lin Xian and the Yi family were only cooperating and could end at any time. In this way, the Dragon Palace was even more terrifying. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.